Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are Wisconsin.
What a beautiful Saturday it is on the lake. And just a few miles from there, we're at Miller Park. The roof is open. The tailgating is epic. And it's Memorial Day weekend. We've got the Reds and the Brewers, game 2 of this 3-game series here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Got off with a good start last night. The Brewers won the game 9-5. They now have their longest winning streak of the season. They've won 4 in a row. 14 hits last night, 9 runs on the board, and now the Brewers will try to keep it going, see if they can get to win number 5 here this afternoon. On the mound for Milwaukee, it'll be Chase Anderson. He makes start number 10. Alfredo Simon is his mound opponent. That is a lofty ERA. The Brewers hoping to do some damage against the right-hander this afternoon. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us today alongside Bill Schroeder, also known as the Great Gatsby. I'm Brian Anderson. We'll hear from Sophia Minnaert in just a moment. You're looking sharp, man. This is awesome.
I feel sharp.
So today the Brewers are rolling out another lineup that's going to be without Ryan Braun, just a day off. But Aaron Hill was the story last night, and he continues to be a story against the Cincinnati Reds this year. What gives?
Yeah, kind of got you out of your rhythm
Right.
with the jacket. I mean, a late addition. But, yeah, Aaron Hill off to a very slow start this year. And in all honesty, there were some times where he was hitting in some bad luck. Well, the month of May, things turned around. I mean, he grinded it out. He worked hard. He and Darnell Coles went to the workshop, and certainly when he gets mistakes, he's able to take advantage of them, particularly against the Cincinnati Reds. And what he's been able to do in the month of May, whether it be at third base or at second base, no matter where he's been at, he's been a nice influence in that lineup in the middle of the order, down near the bottom. But on-base percentage, very good. Aaron Hill starting to show the form that he had a few years ago. And certainly a veteran like Aaron Hill, he knows when things aren't going well, he's going to snap out of it at some point, and that has happened.
10 hits against the Reds this year. 5 of those have gone for home runs. He's back in the lineup. You bet he is today. Keon Broxton had his best day in the big leagues. His first extra base hit. Sophia Minnaert standing by. She's got more on the Keon Broxton story right after this.
Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. The Brewers are riding a 4-game winning streak, looking to keep that going here this afternoon. Game 2 between the Brewers and the Reds. The Brewers had 14 hits and 9 runs last night. Keon Broxton contributed. He went 2 for 3 with a single, a double, and a walk. A terrific night for the Brewers center fielder. Good afternoon from Miller Park. I'm Sophia Minert. Craig Counsell preaches to trust the process all the time with this young team, and nobody knows that better than Keon Broxton. He had started his season 0 for 24 before finally breaking through for his first major league hit Wednesday night in Atlanta. Last night, another breakthrough performance, his first career multi-hit game. Broxton spoke with me before the game about his approach and how that has simplified now that he got that first one out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was, it wasn't really eating me up, but it was definitely in the back of my mind to break the ice and get my first knock. I think it's kind of funny how it happened. I was going up for a sac bunt and actually got a hit. So I think that's funny in its own words. But yeah, definitely just getting that first knock out of the way and get moving.
Broxton and the Brewers look to continue their hot hitting here against the Reds. When we come back, BA and Rock will bring you first pitch and lineups here at Miller Park.
To left field, and there she goes, a home run for Jonathan Lucroy. And he lines out with the left. That's fair. A base hit into the corner. Broxton will score the go-ahead run, and VR is in with a double. That's a base hit by Perry, and they're going to send VR. The throw from left, and the tag, not in time. He's at the wall. He looks up. Goodbye. Aaron Hill has done it again.
Well, the hits keep coming for the Brewers.
Yeah, it was the return of Harvey's wallbangers last night. The Brewers with 14 hits. They beat the Reds, and now they give the ball to Chase Anderson, who leads the Brewers onto the field at Miller Park. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. What a beautiful day it is. 81 degrees. Memorial Day weekend festivities are underway here at beautiful Miller Park. Great to have you with us as we get set for Game 2 of this series, Game 2 of 6 on this homestand. The Reds are here, and then the Cardinals come in on Monday. There you see Brian Price skipper of the Cincinnati Reds. It's been a rough go for them. Cincinnati has now lost 11 consecutive games. They are now 3-18 on the road this year. And Brian Price putting this lineup together courtesy of Potawatomi for today's game. Cozart, Votto, and Phillips, Jay Bruce, Adam Duvall, and Eugenio Suarez in the middle. And then Price has Tyler Holt, Tucker Barnhart, and Alfredo Simon. So a change at the bottom of the order this afternoon for the Redlegs. And Rock on the mound, it's going to be Chase Anderson. He's 2-6 this year. He's had some really good starts. He's had some really bad starts, and hopefully the Brewers are going to see good Chase this afternoon.
Yeah, his last 3 starts in May have been pretty good, although he's only 1-2. He's given up only 7 earned runs in his last 19 2/3 innings. It took a loss, a 3-1 loss to the Mets in New York. He got hit pretty hard his first time out against the Reds this year, a 9-5 loss. But overall 2-1 with a 245 earned run average in start number 5 here tonight or today for Anderson against Cincinnati. Let's check out the Menards Brewers defense. No Ryan Braun out in left field today. It's going to be Alex Presley in left, Broxton and Neuenhuis in the outfield. Hill, VR, Jeanette, and Carter from third to first. And once again, Jonathan Lucroy hanging the signs for Chase Anderson today.
James Hoy will call the balls and strikes. Chad Fairchild, Jim Joyce, and Marvin Hudson on the bases, the 4-man umpiring crew. The second base umpire, Jim Joyce, is the crew chief. And all the pieces put in place. We're ready to play ball this afternoon. Great to have you with us. Chase Anderson's first pitch to Cozart is swung on and fouled back, and away we go. Cozart comes in batting .297. He was 0 for 4 last night. Does have 5 homers and 16 driven in. Got 2 very good shortstops in this series with Cozart and VR. There's a fly ball to right. Anderson's day starts with an F9 and 1 away. The last time Chase Anderson was on this mound, he was spectacular. Maybe the best start of his career in the major leagues. He no-hit the Cubs through 7 innings. Ended up going 8 2/3 innings and only 3 hits allowed and just 2 earned runs. It was a spectacular performance against one of baseball's great offenses in the Chicago Cubs.
And what he was able to do was establish fastball even against a very good hitting Cubs ball club. And that's been one of the turnaround. One of the things he's done as of late, establishing fastball, throwing a few more of them, and setting up his off-speed pitch off of that fastball.
Joey Votto with 1 out. And Votto turns on 1. The shift is on. There is Jeanette from the outfield grass. 2 up and 2 down. Yeah, that start against the Chicago Cubs. Anderson has never completed a game in the major leagues, and he was on the doorstep against the Cubs. I mentioned he took the Cubs no hits into the 8th inning, and then he was a strike away from a complete game shutout. Gave up back-to-back home runs to Hayward and Chris Bryant in the 9th inning, and ended up coming out of the game with 8 2/3 innings. But a special performance that night against the Cubs, and hoping to have a performance that'll catapult him into the rest of his season as a Brewer.
Yeah, one of the better offenses in the league, and he was able to stymie him pretty well with a fastball. Pretty good against the Mets. 5 innings, 3 runs. He did give up a home run. The home run ball has been his issue this year. He's given up 12. If he keeps it in the ballpark, normally Chase is going to be all right.
He's got a pretty good fastball going early. Phillips late on that heater. Anderson did give up a home run in his last start. 101 pitches across 5 innings against the Mets. It was a good game, though. He kept the Brewers in the game, surrendering to 3 runs in 5 innings. Brewers just couldn't score that game against Noah Syndergaard and the Mets last Sunday. That was a 3-1 final. Syndergaard was on top of his game that day as well. He struck out 11 across 7 innings. There's a line drive base hit into right center. So Brandon Phillips is aboard. A 2-out single. And the Reds have a base runner for Jay Bruce.
Yeah, the Reds have not been very good offensively, and it's really amazing when you look at their middle of the order. It starts with Votto in the 2 spot. Votto, Phillips, and Bruce, and it's been a down year offensively. Yeah, but Phillips got a fastball up and away and hit it hard into center.
And that'll bring up Jay Bruce for the Reds. Coming in with 8 home runs and 29 driven in. He's their RBI leader. It's always been tough on the Brewers. As we mentioned last night, he has 34 career home runs against Milwaukee. And that is the most for any opponent that he has faced. 122 games against the Brewers in his career, and it's 34 and 83. And that ball is in the air to center. Looks playable for Broxton on the track. He's got it, and that will retire the side. So Anderson off to a good start. Reds failed to score, and now the Brew Crew coming to bat for the first time. Jason Lane getting ready for the Brewers and the Reds game 2, and a lineup today for Council that is without Ryan Braun. Just a day off. Council said no alarms need to be sounded. Braun just needing a day off. He'll be back in there tomorrow. Potawatomi batting order looks like this then. VR, Jeanette, and Lucroy with Carter, Neuenhuis, and Hill in the middle, and then Council has Presley, Broxton, and Chase Anderson rounding out the starting 9. That will face Alfredo Simon. It'll be his second start against the Brewers this season.
Yeah, his best start of the year came against Milwaukee. Actually, it was a Chase Anderson start same day, so a rematch of that matchup in Cincinnati. I mean, he pitched 8 2/3 did Simon, gave up 3 runs and picked up a win. Other than that, it's been a rough road. He got pounded around pretty good last start and gave up 10 earned runs against Cleveland 2 starts ago.
Man, an ERA buster and an ERA over 10 starting play here today. Reds pitching has really struggled. Their earned run average is close to 7 runs per game in this 11-game losing streak, and they're only averaging about a little over 2.5 runs per game during this stretch. And the Brewers are trying to keep it that way. Let's face it, they want to keep this winning streak going. The Brewers swept the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. They won last night and trying to get themselves on a bit of a roll right now. And Milwaukee finds themselves only 4 games under 500 at this point.
They're playing some good baseball here at home. Over 500 at home, and Greg Count's very pleased with the way his team has been playing lately.
That's what it looks like in the Central Division. The Cubs with the best record in baseball. 4.5 games up on the Pirates, and then the Cardinals, and then the Brewers are just 2.5 behind St. Louis. 2-2 to Jonathan VR, back in the leadoff spot for the Brewers, and right off the handle, long throw, Cozart, and safe is the call. That ball just died on the bat of VR, and with his speed, able to beat it down the line for an infield hit.
Yeah, had some funny spin on it. You know, the Reds want to take a look at that, and they are right now. And Cozart was kind of backing up as he threw the baseball. Check it out. He's going back and really not able to get much on it. And it looks like the Reds want a review.
Now Brian Price asking the umpires to take a look at it, and bang, bang. It's probably going to be the best look we have at it, especially with the super slow-mo from our center field camera. And just remember that two things. First, the call on the field is safe, so there has to be enough evidence to overturn it. The second thing is it is not determined a catch by the first baseman in this scenario until the ball strikes the glove.
Right. And when does that happen, right? I mean, and a couple of things that are going against the Reds, and that is very close. Going to be interesting.
Yeah, I guess the biggest question I have right now, if I'm an umpire looking at this in the replay review center, is can you determine when the ball makes contact with the glove? It's not that it just disappears in the glove, but it has to hit the leather of the glove, and it's tough to see that.
And that's what the umpires look at on a play like that. I mean, they're looking at the foot on the bag and the sound of the ball hitting the glove, and looks like we're going to have a pretty quick decision here.
And Jim Joyce calls him out, so it has been overturned. So Villar, instead of an infield hit, it's funny because Villar had almost the exact scenario in reverse in Atlanta on the first play of the game the other day. So one was given to him and now one's taken away. And I guess enough evidence there to overturn it.
Yeah, too close to really tell, and yeah, I guess you can't argue either way, right?
So one away, and here is Scooter Gennett back in the lineup today. Gennett did not play at all yesterday. Hernan Perez hit second, and it was Aaron Hill who played second base in yesterday's game. And Gennett lines one to right. That's down, a base hit. Going to go to the wall. Scooter on his way to second. And he'll take a peek. Now he's on his way to third. Here comes a throw from Phillips. Off the mark. It is a triple for Scooter Gennett.
Well, it looked like he was going to be satisfied with a double. He kind of slowed down a little bit, and then Ed Cedar waving him around. And well, it took Jay Bruce a while to get down into that corner. And Scooter able to golf one that was down and in at 93 miles an hour, and Scooter with a nice easy swing rips it down the line. And I don't think the Reds were thinking that Scooter was going to be able to pull the baseball, not really a pull hitter, and if that throws on line it might be close.
I think when Scooter saw the ball stick under the padding momentarily, which you have to play, there are some ballparks where you can raise your hands and that's a dead ball, but not here. Prince Fielder actually had an inside the park home run on a play like that against the Blue Jays one year.
Yes, he did, yeah.
So Jay Bruce knows that, went and played it. But Gennett able to make it to third for his first triple of the season. And a runner at third with one out for Lucroy. Into center field. And that's going to fall.
Wow.
A base hit. Lucroy will drive in a run with a single.
Boy, backing up on that. If he charges that baseball, he's going to be able to catch it. Boy, oh boy. Well, Lucroy will take the hit, but that's one that's a head scratcher if you're the Cincinnati manager. Tyler Holt out there in center field. Well, line drive right at him. And sometimes, you know, center fielders will tell you that's the toughest one to judge. Boy, good contact for Lucroy, swinging the bat well once again. Maybe coming out of the shadows fooled him. Comes in and then backs up.
Yeah.
If he keeps going, he's going to make that catch.
That's a good call with the shadows. I think you're right, because that was a playable ball, although he hit it hard. So instead of a sac fly, it's an RBI single for Lucroy. The Brewers strike first here this afternoon, and now Chris Carter is at the plate. Carter was 0 for 5 yesterday. Brewers did a lot of hitting. As Carter rolls to third, Suarez low throw, and he's off the bag. Votto is off the bag according to the first base umpire. And Votto very confidently points to his dugout and says, let's go to review on this one.
Well, it didn't look like the throw was off by that much. I mean, was it actually? Looks like he's on the bag. I mean, I'm not sure. Interesting. I mean, that throw was a little bit low, but right at Votto, so he didn't really have to shift the feet.
You know, I think there is a little space between the spike and the bag, especially as he rocks back.
Well, that's on Votto then, because the throw wasn't that bad. It was right at him, but a little bit short.
Well, the first base umpire, Chad Fairchild, was right on it. Again, this is we've had 2 reviews already, but the call on the field, if there's not enough evidence to overturn it, yeah, he's not on the bag.
And maybe, yeah, maybe a little bit in front of the bag, and Chad Fairchild calling him safe.
Wow.
Wow, it's something else, isn't it? So 2 safe calls, 1 overturned. Let's see what they do with this one.
Votto and the umpire taking a look at the big board here as they show the replays.
Don't you love replay?
Man,
you did. You like replay,
I'm
don't
all
you?
in. Let's just get it right.
Yeah.
All right. We got a review coming. We got an answer. And what do we have? Safe. How about that?
Well, now the Reds are out of reviews.
Call on
First
the field
inning
stands. And it's going to have to be an error on Votto, I would imagine.
Well, the throw was short. It might be an error on third baseman, but it's certainly not a hit.
That'll be an E3 officially. 1 minute, 3 seconds on the review. And just not paying attention to detail right there.
Taking everything for granted, apparently.
Kirk Nieuwenhuis now with 2 on. But in Votto's defense, in this day and age, though, I mean, there have been, how many first basemen have what they used to call it, cheated the throw, come off a little early to try to get an out? You can't do that anymore. It's a new age. Because these replays are so close.
Yeah, same thing at second base. I mean, you have to be able to, once you have the baseball in your hand and you're turning a double play, you have to tag the bag. There's no in the vicinity play anymore.
2 on, 1 out, a run is in. Little half swing and no appeal asked for. Nieuwenhuis ahead in the count, 2-1. Now, if you're the Reds and you're a Reds fan, then that play right there is kind of symbolic of what's going on with the ball club right now. It's just one frustration after another.
And making mistakes that inexcusable. I mean, even the base hit by Lucroy in the center field. I mean, that's a ball you got to catch, and certainly Votto knows better than pulling that foot. 2 mistakes here in the first inning.
Let's see if the Brewers can make it a big inning. 3 balls and a strike on Nieuwenhuis. And he lost him. Ball 4. The bases are loaded.
Well, let's check out the Menards defense for Cincinnati. Already shaky in the first inning. They have not played very well defensively all year. Duvall, Holt, and Bruce in the outfield. Suarez, he's got 10 errors on the season. Cozart and Phillips solid up the middle. Joey Votto at first, and Tucker Barnhart behind home plate.
They got an early mound visit from Cincinnati pitching coach Mark Riggins. Probably got to be the most famous pitching coach right now because of his quick trips to the mound. He's had a lot of them this year. You never want to get to know your pitching coach more than any other player, but he's been out there a lot. So Aaron Hill will step in there, the hottest of the Brewers, coming off his 2-homer game yesterday, and he's hit a grand slam against Cincinnati this year. Part of his 3-home run game on May 7th. He drove in 7 runs in that big performance in the Queen City. 5 of his 6 home runs have come against the Reds this season.
Yeah, 3 hits last night, including two homers. And just a veteran guy that kept grinding it out in April. He knew, he's been around a while. He knows it's not going to last forever, and he's starting to really swing the bat, having a really good month of May.
Numbers are up to 271, 6 homers, 19 ribbies. In the month of May, he's hitting .360. Has 5 home runs and 12 RBIs in the month alone. April to May, and really goes back to spring training for Hill. He really struggled in his first camp with the Brewers, and then couldn't get it going in April. His manager defended him a little bit, saying he hit into a lot of line drive outs in that first month, but the results are there in the month of May.
And those line drives are starting to fall. And he's got the count in his favor, 2-1. Well, Simon not throwing very hard. Basically fastball slider for Alfredo Simon. He was outstanding in Cincinnati, 7 2/3, but off to a rocky start today.
2 balls a strike, bases loaded. 2-2 now. Aaron making start number 41 today. Most of that time coming at third base. He's had 29 starts at third base. He's had 12 starts at second. Two and two the count. Way outside.
And trying to drop down a little bit. He'll do that against right-handers. He's kind of spinning up there, not a whole lot of depth to it.
Now the count is full. Is he going to challenge Hill here with the bases loaded? Shaking off a number of signs. Now Simon's got the one he wants. 3-2 pitch, and Hill a bouncing ball toward the shortstop Cozart. His only play is first. Close. Safe. A run is in, and Hill beats it out.
Now no sense in the Reds taking a look at it. They're out of challenges. They lost a challenge in the first inning. Another close play at first base, and Chad Fairchild has called it safe all 3 times. And that'll be an RBI, so not a whole lot going right for the defense for Cincinnati. And Simon making a good pitch, but Cozart not able to get enough on the throw. And it really doesn't matter if it's a good call or not, because Cincinnati has no choice. They have no challenges left.
Now they've already challenged twice. They won the first one, so they got to keep their one challenge. Lost the second challenge. They're done, at least until the 7th inning, when the umpires can call for a review. Now here's Alex Presley. Now the Brewers have 2 in, bases loaded, 1 out, and a chance to make this a big first inning.
Yeah, Presley took Simon deep in Cincinnati. Hit a home run. That was it for Simon. He hit that home run in the 8th inning.
Well, if you're Brian Price and the Reds, how do you avoid the here we go again philosophy for your team when you've lost 11 straight? They have not won a road series this year. If the Brewers win today, they'll drop to 0-8 in road series.
No, that's not up to Brian Price. That's up to the players. They need to play better.
Yeah, good call. The 2-0. Presley out to Cozart. Chance to turn 2. And it goes 6-4-3. And just like that, the rally is snuffed. But the Brewers score twice. Scooter Gennett with his first triple of the season. He got it all going in the first inning. And then RBIs from Lucroy and Hill. 2-0 Milwaukee. We're off and running at Miller Park.
a Saturday afternoon in Milwaukee, top second. And tomorrow at Miller Park, as the Brewers take on the Reds, kids 14 and under eat free. Plus, we'll also get a paint-your-own Bernie bobblehead, courtesy of Waterstone Bank. Reserve your spot at Brewers.com.
That's tomorrow, finally. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a little bit of cleanup involved, but that's okay.
I never did paint mine.
Well, we're saving it for tomorrow. Chase Anderson back on the mound after the Brewers scored twice in the first inning. Could have been a much bigger inning for Milwaukee. We'll see how that plays into this one. Adam Duvall has been a nice story for the Reds. Been one of the bright spots. 10 home runs and 22 runs batted in. Hit a 3-run homer last night as he rolls to third. And there is out number 1. Here's Eugenio Suarez. He's mired in a long hitless streak after an 0 for 4 last night. 0 for 24 at the plate right now for Suarez.
This guy's got some home run power. He did a good job filling in for Zach Cozart last year at shortstop. As far as offense goes, he's always going to make some errors. He's got 10 this year at third. And Brian Price letting him work it out, keeping him in that starting lineup.
Now those hitless streaks are hard to overcome. The mental game probably more difficult than any. Two balls and a strike. Trying to boost a little bit of confidence. You just have to look to the fact that his teammate Jay Bruce had a long hitless streak a couple of years ago. He was 0 for 26. And Todd Frazier 3 years ago when he was a Red was 0 for 31 at one point.
Yeah, how about that? Two pretty good hitters. But it doesn't seem as bad when you're playing every day. I mean, if you're in and out of the lineup, it's very difficult to snap out of it when you're not playing. You know, sometimes hitters think they have to swing themselves out of bad stretches. Sometimes it's you're better off taking pitches, looking at some pitches, and picking up the baseball, swinging at strikes.
Well, he does have 9 homers this year, second on the club to his teammate Duvall, the man who hits in front of him. Full count, 1 out. Anderson deals, and a foul ball out of play. He's just a little late on the fastball. It's pretty simple when you're in a slump. I mean, it's almost universal. You're behind the fastball and you're ahead of the breaking stuff.
Yeah, you just caught in between. You're not looking for anything. You're just kind of looking for the baseball and just unsure of yourself.
Here's another 3-2. Inside, hit him. Anderson had one get away and he drills him in the back. So a base runner with 1 out.
Trying to come inside with a fastball and got him right on his side. That's going to smart a little bit. Of course, any way on when you're having a difficult time at the plate, even that doesn't hurt so bad.
Well, that'll bring up Tyler Holt now. We saw him in a pinch hit appearance last night. Gets the start over Billy Hamilton in center field today. And a strike on a breaking ball, first pitch. A lot of baseball across the major leagues today. We'll keep an eye on everything that's going on. We've got the Baseball Night in America on Fox tonight. Number of terrific matchups across the league as well. That's why we're playing at 3 o'clock, to protect the national TV window. So I got some good ones tonight, though. You got the Dodgers and the Mets, Rangers Pirates with Yu Darvish returning for Texas, and the Cardinals and the Nationals are the 3 national televised games. A lot of games already underway. They're close to the end in Toronto. The Red Sox lead the Blue Jays 9-8. Bottom of the ninth there. Got the White Sox and the Royals. Chicago leading that one late. Todd Frazier, the former Red, in the lineup. He's 0 for 4 today. Hitting just .230 for the White Sox. He's got some homers.
White Sox have fallen on some hard times.
Yeah, they're just 5 over now. They're up 7-1 over the Royals in the 8th. Trying to get back to 6 games over after they were blistering hot early in the month. No balls, 2 strikes on Holt. 1-2 now. And then there's a few games just underway. Tigers, A's, O's, Indians. Braves are hosting the Marlins. Rays, Yankees. And the Giants and the Rockies. Giants already up 4-0 in that game, and they've got Bumgarner on the mound in Colorado.
Even with Bumgarner on the mound, 4-0, not that big of a lead in Colorado.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buster Posey has homered in that game. A 3-run homer. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson facing Tyler Holt, batting 7th in the Reds order. Ground ball through, base hit. So first and second with 1 out.
Yeah, got in on his hands, but Holt able to, get enough of it to sneak it into left field. You can see the fastball, the 2-seamer, gets him on the handle, but Holt's strong enough to muscle it into left field, right in the hole. So a 1-out rally for Cincinnati.
Now, if you're a starting pitcher, imperative to put up a 0 in this particular inning based on what happened last inning. Yes, the Brewers scored twice, but had the bases loaded and just 1 out and couldn't come up with any more runs. It was a double play that ended the inning, giving the Reds a little life early. Barnhart pops it foul. That'll be in the seats.
Anderson really trying to establish that fastball today like he has been over his last 3 or 4 starts. I think it surprised the Reds a little bit, and when he faced the Reds last time, he's trying to get by with a lot of off-speed stuff. Really didn't trust the fastball, couldn't locate it, doing a better job today.
That start against the Reds on May 5th was the last of a group of 4 that really set Anderson back. Put a high number on that ERA. It was a 4-game stretch. He lost all 4. It started with the Twins in mid-April, and this is after he began his tenure with the Brewers with back-to-back starts with no earned runs. His first 11 innings for the Brewers in his first 2 starts, he did not allow an earning. His wins have come against the Astros and the Cubs. Comes in 2-6 with a 5.33 earned run average. One ball, 1 strike. 2 men are on for the Reds. And Barnhart fouls it away. The count at 1-2. Reds are missing Devin Mesoraco. He's been out with a shoulder injury. Their all-star catcher. Tucker Barnhart gets a call behind the plate today.
Yeah, 2 years now that Mesoraco's been out.
Reds are dealing with a lot of injuries right now. And a 2-2 count on Barnhart. Brian Price hoping to get things turned around. His job certainly in jeopardy this season. Two and two, and he hit another one. So the bases are loaded. Two hit batters in the inning, both of them coming on 2 strike pitches. And it's going to load him up for the pitcher, Simon.
Yeah, neither one. Cincinnati hitter not able to get out of the way. Right off the elbow. Barnhart didn't do much to get out of the way of that, did he? Well, it hits him right above the elbow, and Anderson in trouble. But he's got the pitcher coming up.
Alfredo Simon will bat.
And the interesting thing about these 2 hit batters, Anderson had not hit a batter before today's game.
A fine line between effectively pitching inside and leaving a pitch out over the plate, hittable, or hitting the batter.
That's why pitching inside is so difficult for a lot of guys. But early in the year, he wasn't pitching inside too much. I mean, which is one of the reasons why he was getting hit hard, at least after his first 2 starts. You can always tell the guys, you see a team come in, you look at the statistics, and you know the guys that pitch inside, they've got a number of hit batters on their record.
And for a guy like Anderson, who does not have the overpowering stuff and relies heavily on a changeup, that is a must for him. Lucroy's back in there. Chopper out to Jeanette. Chance to turn it here. He flips it to Villar, and a double play. That's what he needed. With the bases loaded and the pitcher at the plate, Anderson able to get out of it. 4-6-3 double play. No runs in.
A 2-0 lead, and Keon Broxton had started his career 0 for 24 before finally breaking through for his first major league hit Wednesday night in Atlanta. Last night he collected his first multi-hit game, was on base all 3 times, including a double. Here's what Broxton said about how that approach has simplified now that he got that first hit out of the way.
Oh man, that was awesome. Make some solid contact and help out the team a lot by getting on base and scoring some runs. So it's good for my confidence, and it's good for the team as well.
Counsell said certainly you don't want to start the season like Broxton said. He said, and of course it's easy to tell a guy not to press in that kind of situation, but it's hard for a young player to avoid that. So he was happy with what he saw from Broxton in the Atlanta series and said it's great to see him break out like he did last night and build off of that moving forward.
Yeah, and roll that card again, put him back in the lineup, see if he can keep it moving. You know he can play center field. He's already proven that. He runs them down well. He's very fast. And he's not afraid of the wall either. He's crashed into the wall a couple of times. So he's fearless defensively and trying to get his offensive game to match. And he hit in AAA. So it's there. Just trying to transfer all of that to the big league level. And it usually starts with the confidence of the hitter.
Right. And you knew it was only going to take one good game for him to turn things around. And you look up there and you know, for an extended period of time, you don't have a batting average. That starts getting into your head a little bit and you start pressing. Only natural. Swung the bat well last night.
Keon Broxton. He came to the Brewers from the Pirates. Brewers traded Jason Rogers to Pittsburgh to get Broxton. 2-2. Simon deals. Slow roller, got a chance here. Suarez, bare hands, throws.
Wow.
Out at first.
Nice play. Wow.
That was close.
Yeah, that was a beauty.
We have had so many bang calls at first base already.
Chad Fairchild, I hope he got his sleep last night because he has been tested quite a bit already. It's only the second inning. And Broxton on his horse, and he can get down that line and very close at first base. Craig Counsell, yep, he's out. Craig Counsell's not going to challenge that. That was a heck of a play by Suarez.
It really was. Chase Anderson into right field. Bruce going back, and he makes the catch. Had him scampering toward the fence. Anderson gave it a ride, but 2 men are out here in the second inning. Two excellent defensive plays by the Reds.
Yep, right down the middle, nice easy swing, and Jay Bruce missed one like that last night. Able to keep that in the glove today.
2 up, 2 down. Top of the order now. Here is Jonathan Villar. Villar comes into play today with a batting average of .304 now after his ground ball out in the first. His on base percentage is at an even .400 and an OPS of .827 at this point. Strong numbers from a leadoff hitter. Villar is among league leaders in doubles. He's only hit the 2 homers, but he has 15 doubles. Gregory Polanco of the Pirates is the National League leader in doubles with 18, and Villar is tied for second. This month, Villar and David Ortiz are tied for the most doubles in the game.
Pretty good company right there. He adds a lot of excitement to the lineup, and he's in there every day. He's only missed 3 games.
2-2 the count. Little tapper toward third, foul.
It's not uncommon to see Villar working early before batting practice on the defense. Actually, we saw him do that in Atlanta. The Brewers didn't even have batting practice that day. He and Carlos Sabaro were out. He was working on the exchange out of the glove and into the hand, and always working, trying to get better. He loved that.
There's Carlos Sabaro, the first base coach, infield coach for the Brewers. Was the AA manager last year. A wave and a miss, a foul tip actually into the mid of the catcher. That's a strikeout, and the inning is over. Scoreless frame, 3 up, 3 down for Simon. Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Hey, Brewer fans, if you can't catch the games on television, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin, and Brewers baseball wherever you go. Chase Anderson back on the mound. He starts his third inning. 2-0 Brewers as we play in the Cincinnati half of the third. And a first pitch breaking ball misses. Top of the order for the Reds, Cozart, Votto, and Phillips. Reds with 2 hits in the first 2 innings. Had the bases loaded last inning with 1 out, but the pitcher was coming up, and he bounced into a 4-6-3 double play. And both teams now have grounded into inning-ending double plays with the bases loaded. Brewers did it in the first.
There's that good fastball from Chase Anderson, still trying to establish inside, and got Cozart with that one. Ate him up.
Cozart pulls one foul. Well, it's just a glorious day here in Milwaukee today.
Isn't it nice?
The rains that came through last night, they have moved on. Sunny skies up above. Roof is open. Temperatures in the 80s. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
A little cloudy this morning, but broke.
There's a little tapper in front of the plate. And Lucroy will make the play for the out. A 2-foot out for Zach Cozart. 1 away in the third. And here comes Joey Votto. Carshoot.com trivia. Who are the 2 active players with at least 150 career hits against the Brewers? I'm guessing Votto's one of them.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody in the Central, you would think.
Votto takes a strike. Somebody in the Central with some longevity. Let's see.
Yeah.
You got possible Votto, of Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce are all good candidates.
Molina.
Another good one. Back inside.
Well, you play your the teams in your own division, what, 18 times a year? Right? That's a lot of games.
That'd be a good candidate.
Yeah, it would.
The Reds don't lack for big names. I mean, they've got very familiar players still. Position players all making big money. Votto and Phillips and Bruce. Even Zach Cozart coming back from an injury. And Votto pulls that one down the line. That's going to land fair. And it'll get down into the corner. Neuenhuis fields it, and Votto will roll into second with a double.
Yeah, got the changeup and able to hook it down the line. And, Votto continues to struggle this year and able to get the bat head out. And see, until he has 2 strikes, he doesn't choke up all that much. Still, he's off the knob of the bat, but able to hook that changeup down the right field line and into the corner. Neuenhuis doing a good job getting it into the infield.
So the 6th double of the year for Votto to go along with the 7 homers. Pretty impressive piece of hitting there, too. Out in front of it. A flick of the wrist, and it's an extra base hit with 1 away. And that'll bring up Brandon Phillips.
That was a pretty good 2-1 pitch, though. I mean, think about it. That's just as you mentioned, a good hitter, hitting a decent pitch.
Big bender that misses. Phillips last time up singled on a 2-strike pitch. Anderson has had base runners on behind him in each of his first 3 innings. Got out of a bases loaded jam last inning as Phillips fouls it away, 2-1.
It's always a difficult proposition to get through a lineup when you don't have that good zip on your pitches, and you're really not been able to put them where you want them. So far the Reds have been able to get on base but haven't scored yet. Chase is just battling through this. That's a pretty good pitch.
Well, first pitch curveball was a pretty good pitch too. Just missing is Anderson.
That could have been a strike.
So it's a hitter's count on Phillips. Ground ball. Oh, what a play by Hill. To his feet. Throw to first is dug out by Carter. Aaron Hill with a gem at third base.
You can't dismiss his defense. I mean, we've been talking about his offense all month, but his defense has been very good. I mean, limited range, but if he can get to it, he's going to make a play. Cut fastball, and Phillips out on the end. Looked like it might be a base hit and a run in, but look at Aaron Hill able to angle back and get the out. Another good pick by Chris Carter at first.
It was Aaron Hill who came to the Brewers with Chase Anderson in that trade for Gene Segura. Tyler Wagner was the other piece for the Brewers that went to the Diamondbacks, and then there was a third piece that Milwaukee received, a minor league shortstop. So the third baseman and the pitcher are reconnected here in Milwaukee on that trade. Both good guys too, good clubhouse presence, each of them, which was the goal for Milwaukee, to try to improve their clubhouse, especially with a veteran like Aaron Hill. High character guy, as is Chris Carter, the first baseman.
And he's certainly improved the defense, the infield defense. Chris Carter's been a nice surprise defensively. That was one of the things that the Brewers wanted to shore up coming into the season. I think they've done it. 31 errors on the season.
Jay Bruce takes strike one. I've been impressed with Carter's ability to pick the short hops. He just had one there. And that's a relatively easy short hop in the context of short hops, but he's been good on the mid hops too, the ones that eat up first baseman.
Yeah, had a couple of tough ones in Atlanta.
You want the long hop or the little short hop? Those ones in the middle are the ones that usually turn into errors. Bruce was late, a swing and a miss. He chased one high, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, watch the way he angles back to get that baseball. It was by him, actually. He puts it in the glove, and watch Carter. There's nothing to it. Right in the heel of the glove. I've got it.
Yeah, with those mitts, though.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't even need a glove. 2-2 with the runner at second. And he got him. Anderson with a changeup. Bruce strikes out. And the inning is over, and the Reds let a one-out double by Votto get away. That's a beautiful pitch. 2-0 Brewers. We go to the bottom of the third. For our AT&T high-speed replay, how about Scooter Gennett, his first triple of the season, and it set up a 2-run inning for the Brewers. Next man up, Jonathan Lucroy. He would single into center field. Gennett scored the run, and then Aaron Hill with an infield hit. He beat it out, allowing another run to score. 2 in the first for the Brewers, and here we are in inning number 3. Gennett ready to lead off once again, and Scooter coming off that triple and run scored in the first inning after a day off yesterday. Alfredo Simon deals way inside. 2-0 the count. Brewers will wrap up the series with the Reds tomorrow, Sunday afternoon here at Miller Park. That is a 1:10 start. We'll be on the air at 12:30. Back to the mound. Simon's got it. Gennett retired. So 1 away. Here comes Lucroy. Lucroy found the home run stroke last night, partner. His Powerball home run number 7.
Yeah, Brewers fell behind 3-0, and it didn't take them long to get back, and Lucroy made it a 3-2 game. Coming off a rough road trip, but Lucroy swinging about well here on the homestand.
All 7 of those home runs for Lucroy have been in the month of May. Now 21 runs batted in after that single and RBI off Simon his last time up.
Yeah, he's been swinging about well against Simon for his career. 8 for 13. That's a nifty .615 batting average. You wonder why he's playing the day game after the night game, right? Not that that's unusual for Lucroy, but he knows he hits Simon well.
1 ball, 1 strike. Outside, 2-1. That one's on the ground off the end of the bat. Cozart, the sure-handed Red shortstop, makes a play for out number 2.
Hey, the St. Louis Cardinals come to town for a 3-game series this Monday through Wednesday as the Crew and the Redbirds meet at Miller Park for the first time this year. Go to Brewers.com for tickets. Monday, Memorial Day.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's one of the great markers of the baseball schedule, but most importantly, it's an opportunity to use the massive platform of Major League Baseball to tell some great stories and introduce you to some veterans that we'll have in the ballpark, and to also remember why Memorial Day is so special in our country.
A sacred day in our country, remembering our fallen heroes. And I think we're going to have a nice feature on one of our World War II veterans on Monday, so don't miss that on Brewers Live.
We had a number of the Stars and Stripes Honor Flight with us yesterday. Great to talk to those guys. Great to just be around them, and for the little time we have. Carter pulls one. That's hooking. Long run. Duvall. He lays out and makes the catch. Wow, what a play that was. Adam Duvall at the last moment snatches that one before it hit the ground. Heck of a play. Reds are playing some pretty good defense behind Simon this afternoon. This is going to be one of the best of the day all across Major League Baseball. Full stretch. Adam Duvall takes extra bases away from Carter.
For Saturday afternoon baseball, the Crew have a 2-0 lead over the Reds, and our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. We go around the league with some early results. Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs through his second career complete game, 5 hits, just 1 run allowed, 7 strikeouts as well. That was a win over the Phillies for them. And Devin Travis today, you see what the Blue Jays did, 6 runs over their final 2 innings. Travis was the hero with that walk-off single off Craig Kimbrel that game in Boston. And Rougned Odor, his suspension reduced from 8 games to 7 games. He's eligible to return for the Rangers on June 4th.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. We'll be keeping an eye on all that action across Major League Baseball today. First man up for the Reds is Duvall. He just made that great catch, and he bangs one off the wall on a bounce. It'll be a leadoff double for Adam Duvall. This guy's been impressive.
Yeah, first pitch curveball from Chase Anderson. He hung it. And Duvall banged it out there in the left field. Hang him and bang him. That's what the hitters say. And look at this play by Duvall. Nice. Right before it gets to the ground, and that ended the inning. And all of a sudden, Alfredo Simons kind of settled down with some help from his defense.
Now the Reds have put together a number of excellent plays. Duvall homered last night. Now he's got his first hit of the day. It's a leadoff double, and Anderson back in the stretch. He's been able to wiggle out of a few jams. He's had runners in scoring position the last 3 innings now, and yet still a 0 on the board at this point. Suarez was hit by a pitch, a 3-2 pitch his last time up. Anderson has hit 2 Reds today. Saw there was a trade in the big leagues today as well. The Mets going to be without Lucas Duda for a while. They acquired James Loney. That's just coming across to add to Sophia's report. That was a deal with the Padres that the Mets made. Duda had back problems and wasn't in the lineup against Milwaukee in the final game. A fly ball to right. Neuenhuis will round it. Duvall's going to run. Neuenhuis's throw comes in and not in time. So a fly ball out, but Duvall advances to third with just 1 away in the inning.
Man, the wind really pushing that ball. It looked like it was pretty much straightaway right field, but whatever wind there is, it's swirling in the ballpark, and you can see the wind blowing from, you know, right field to left, but it's not the way that ball was pushed. It was almost in foul territory. Look, initially it started straightaway right field.
It's always interesting wind currents when the roof's open, the panels are open, and the breezes go swirling through the ballpark. It definitely makes it a home run friendly ballpark, because there are prevailing currents that go out to right center, blowing out that way.
And even that fly ball that Jay Bruce hit in the first inning carried pretty well. Nearly left the ballpark.
To runner at third with 1 out for Tyler Holt. It's hard to truly know how the ballpark plays with roof open, close, and all that. That's a broken bat, base hit. Man, right over the head of Carter. And Holt on his way to second. Neuenhuis's throw comes in, and VR can't pick it up.
Well, that's pretty good speed right there. Wow. Well, he got around first base. As soon as he hit it, he was thinking a double, and he was able to make it. And RBI off the end of the bat, broke his bat on the cut fastball right off the end. But Holt, look at him get out of that box, and he got into second base easily. He can run.
Yeah, flying around the bags. Hustle double for Tyler Holt. And a runner at second with 1 out for Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher.
That's the kind of hustle Brian Price like to see from all of his guys.
2-1 to score. The Reds on the board for the first time. But anyway, going back to the stadium, you look at the statistics, it obviously tells you that there are more home runs hit when the roof is open, but a lot of that has to do with air temperature. Obviously, when the roof is open, you're into the summer, it's warm. Ball's going to travel more when it's warm anyway, travel better.
And you have the wind and wind pushing the ball around. Sometimes it blows in, sometimes it blows out, but you know, wind's certainly a big factor when you're talking about ball, you know, the baseball carrying. But you're right.
It just feels like watching games here over the last 10 years that when it's all opened up, there's always typically a south breeze blowing when you get into the summer months. That's the prevailing wind, and the ball really travels well, especially to right center. So one thing about Miller Park that not many realize who don't live here or attend games here is that when it is cold in the early months and the roof is closed and the panels are closed, you can only heat the ballpark up about 20 degrees. So, you know, a 40-degree April day, you're only able to get it to about 60 degrees inside here, and then it plays much bigger, obviously. Now we're getting into the stretch where pitchers beware. Fly ball to right, and Nieuwenhuis drifting back to the track. Case in point, tagging and advancing is Holt. So 2 men are out.
And 40 to 60, that's a nice little bump.
It's perfect for us.
It's perfect, right? I mean, would you rather play in 40 degrees or sit here comfortably at 60, right?
Absolutely.
Who cares how the ball travels? It's all about our comfort.
And when we say our, we just mean you and me specifically.
Right. And the fans. Those watching.
Yes, the fans, but still you and me first. Up here in the climate controlled booth. Simon, a swing and a miss. A ferocious hack by the pitcher.
Yeah, Holt's trying to disrupt Anderson. He keeps trying to get him to balk.
And he's going, and the pitch hits the batter. Oh my gosh.
Look at Alfredo Simon.
Simon is hit by the pitch. He fires the bat. That's going to send Holt back to third. Wow, you talk about good fortune. I thought Holt had a chance to steal that base.
Simon upset. He fired his bat down, and I think that saved the Brewers a run right here. Check it out. No, the idea, I mean, it's not a bad idea if you think about it. The only problem is you have the top of the order coming up. But he drills Alfredo Simon, and he not done that. Of course, you're told to go up and in to get the hitter down. And I think if he did that, he might have been able to get the out. Because you see, Lucroy would have had the baseball well in advance of Holt getting to home plate.
Wow. And then you wonder if Simon had a sense that Holt was running on that play. What if it's a strike? Does he swing?
Better not.
You're right. Well, that was fun to watch.
Yeah, well, you know what? You could tell. I mean, when he was out there on the first pitch to Simon, he was really creeping down that line. He made a false effort. He stopped, but then he just kept going. And boy, when was the last time you saw that in the major leagues? An all-out steal of home on a windup. That's why guys don't wind up anymore with men on third base.
Yeah, straight steal of home. The only visions that come to mind when I see that is Jackie Robinson in the World Series.
Right.
The slow windup of Anderson.
And he really didn't speed his windup up at all. And he drills Alfredo Simon in the leg, and then he fires the bat down.
I would love to find out after the game if he's mad at Anderson for getting hit by the pitch, or if he's mad at his third base coach for not telling him what was happening, or what.
Well, he's got to be mad that he got hit by a pitch.
2 outs now. Here's Cozart.
I don't think the third base coach knew that Holt was going to run. I think that's he just does that by feel.
But Simon squared the bunt with 2 outs,
Maybe,
right?
yeah, he saw him. I think maybe he was trying to keep the catcher back, and that's one way to do that. But I don't think there's a sign to steal home, and certainly the pitcher's not going to know what that sign is.
0-2 the count.
Out of the corner of your eye, you can see the guy coming down the line, and what you want to do is try and wave that bat in front of the catcher's eyes to, disrupt his ability to catch the baseball. But it will be interesting, I mean, after the game, to talk to both Simon and Chase Anderson, Holt, as to whether that was called from the bench. I doubt it.
Had a hustle double. Regardless, his speed has forced the issue here, and Anderson having to make a big pitch. Had a chance to get out of the inning with the pitcher at the plate. Instead, he's dealing with Cozart. 0-2 right off the end of the bat. Going to be a tough play. Carter with Anderson covering. Nicely done. Man, that ball had some English on it. So a wild fourth inning. Anderson allows one. 2-1 Brewers. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Reds Brewers Memorial Day weekend at Miller Park. Great to have you with us. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minard, and our terrific crew at Fox Sports Wisconsin, led in the truck by Brent Reland and Mark Vittorio. Kurt Neuenhuis leads off for Milwaukee. Bottom of the fourth. 2-1 score. The Brewers scored twice in the first. And the Reds just scored in the top of the fourth in a wild inning. Slow roller out to second. The Gold Glover Phillips makes it look easy. Neuenhuis is out. We're going to go talk to our Hall of Fame brethren over here, Bob Uecker and Marty Brennaman. I'd love to get their memories of the last straight steal of home attempt that they've seen. We just had one by the center fielder, Tyler Holt. And Anderson, the pitcher for the Brewers, drilling the batter, who was his mound opponent. Which, when it all said and done, is a pretty smart thing to do.
Pretty good heads-up move by Chase Anderson. Be interesting to see what happens when Chase comes to the plate.
And if you're looking at this from a Reds perspective, you've got a runner at third, 2 outs, a pitcher at the plate who doesn't hit much. So what are your realistic chances to score a run?
Steal home.
Holt tried to steal, and you never know, you get a wild pitch, or it would have been a close play regardless. So I could see it from all sides there. Just don't see it very often. A strike to Aaron Hill. It's one of the great pleasures when the Brewers play the Reds, by the way, is sitting in between two legendary broadcasters, Hall of Fame members, Marty Brennaman and Bob Uecker, as Hill draws a 1-out walk. And it'll be Alex Presley. See, if you're playing the Dodgers now, we'd be able to go to ask Vin Scully about the steals of home, and he'd regale us with stories of Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Reese.
He's probably seen everyone, right? Gonna miss him next year.
Oh man, are we ever?
Yeah. Looking forward to that West Coast swing. That's coming up next month.
Yep.
See Vin.
Brewers are going to San Francisco, LA, and then back to play a series against the A's. So it'll be our last chance to spend some time with Mr. Scully. Alex Presley with 1 out takes a ball. Marty Brennaman, the Reds legendary radio man, was telling a story. I believe it was Buster Olney who wrote the piece, or actually it could have been in the Cincinnati newspaper. Forgive me for not knowing where that source was, but he had a long talk, did Marty, with Vin, and Marty did announce that he's coming back next year. We'll continue on. But he said he had a long sit down with Vin Scully, and all the guys we look up to for advice still go to Vin Scully for advice.
That's right. Yeah. The best of all time.
I remember a couple of years ago, the Brewers were in Los Angeles playing the Dodgers. There was a great throw by Yasiel Puig. I believe that was last year, actually. Puig fired a strike, threw a Brewer out at second base from the wall. Remember that, Rock?
Yeah.
Went over there and asked him, and Vin, you ever seen a throw like that? Where does that rank? He said, oh, you know, that reminds me of Carl Furillo.
Right.
Carl Furillo.
Right. Not many have that memory, right?
And then he saw, and I've heard of Carl Furillo, but obviously never saw him play. But and then he saw that look in my eyes. He goes, well, maybe somebody you might remember, Raul Mondesi. So that works better for me. It's a great story, by the way. Tom Verducci wrote in Sports Illustrated on Vin Scully. It's a terrific piece. Hall of Fame writer, writing about to say he's a Hall of Fame broadcaster just doesn't actually build him up enough.
Right.
He's the greatest of all time.
The Hall of Fame's Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
And a nice man.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Presley fouls it away. Marty's got his son Tom with him this week. Tom's on the air doing Reds television. Great voice in his own right. Longtime Reds announcers. Starting with Marty. There's Tom. See him on the NFL, and he's one of the best. There's a shot caught by Cozart. Presley hit it right on the nose, but right at the Red shortstop, and 2 men are gone.
Yeah, weighted back nicely. Split-fingered fastball from Alfredo Simon. He'll throw a few of them, mostly the lefties, but left that one up. There it is. You see the grip and the way that pitch hung up in the strike zone, giving Presley a pretty good look at it. Right at Cozart. That's his off-speed pitch. Fastball, slider. He'll cut his fastball, and that's split.
2 outs, and Keon Broxton now with a runner at first. Our crack stats man Mike Faulkner is reporting that there has been a steal of home, a straight steal of home this year. Jacoby Ellsbury did it on April 23rd of this season for the Yankees. I was in my NBA abyss right there. I don't recall that one. Did that make Sophia's report? It's a ground ball to short. Cozart will go the easy way for the out. And the side is retired. So we go to the 5th. After 4 at Miller Park, it's 2-1 Milwaukee.
Back to the 5th, the Brewers have a 2-1 lead over the Reds, and Matt Garza and Corey Knebel both took a big step forward in their comebacks from injuries that has kept them on the disabled list. For Matt Garza, it's been a strained right lat, so he threw a live batting practice session before today's game, facing Domingo Santana and Colin Walsh. Garza told me that he felt great, especially in that second session, better command, rhythm, timing. So the plan for him is that he will join the Timber Rattlers on Tuesday for a minor league rehab start in Peoria. He'll make a handful of rehab starts, and the plan for him is that if everything stays on track, he will rejoin the team in time for June 14th. Corey Knebel also threw a live batting practice. He faced Martin Maldonado and Colin Walsh as well. He will also be sent out on a minor league rehab assignment on Tuesday. He'll go with Brevard County and follow the same plan as Will Smith. He'll make 2 appearances, and then he'll move up to a higher level for back-to-back appearances.
All right, good report, Sophia. Good to see those guys back on the comeback trail. And it's going to take Garza a little longer than Knebel. Garza's got to do the full build-up again. Basically start his spring training all over and get himself ready to be a starting pitcher and be able to go at least 100 pitches.
Yeah, that could take a month. It could take a while for Garza. And if all goes well, maybe sometime after the All-Star break, right?
Joey Votto leads away for the Reds here in the 5th inning. He doubled in the 3rd. 1-2 pitch up and in. Votto spins out of there. Count evens at 2-2.
Nothing wrong with keeping a guy honest on that off that outside corner. And Joey Votto likes to stand right on top of that plate.
And a called strike 3. Got him on the inside corner. And Votto is not happy with James Hoy.
That was a friendly conversation, and Votto not too upset. I don't think that Votto thought that Anderson was going to double up inside. Knocked him off the plate. The pitch before, Votto was probably thinking change up away, but that was a pitch that he hit for a double his last time up. And you can see that pitch had the edge. That's a nice pitch, well located.
Good to get rewarded with a call like that. The zoom lens gives us a chance to see that that was a much more civil conversation than it looked from a distance.
Fans thought that there was a little bit of a Donnybrook ensuing.
Brandon Phillips to right field, well hit, going back. Nieuwenhuis at the wall. He's got it with 0 room left. Nieuwenhuis hauls it in. And Phillips is retired. 2 gone now in the 5th.
And he's got good power to the opposite field, and Brandon Phillips using the ATI zone to his benefit, but just coming up a little short.
So 2 men are out for Jay Bruce. Shows bunt. He's trying to beat the shift. Bunts right through it. I don't think the Brewers would mind at all if Jay Bruce would continue to bunt. As much damage as this guy's done.
Yeah, they're not going to even make an attempt to cover that area. Yeah, you're right. I mean, let him bunt. At least he keeps it in the ballpark.
And it doesn't matter what kind of slump he's in leading up to the Brewers series, as he sends one high and deep foul. Brewers have always been the team he either breaks out of a slump against or the team he gets even hotter against, depending on how he's going coming in. I guess there's just something about that uniform. And a wave and a miss. He's gone again on the change. That's twice now that Anderson has struck him out. 3 up and 3 down with a couple of punch outs for Chase. 2-1 Brewers on our way to the bottom of the 5th. Good crowd today, having a lot of fun at the old ballpark. Hey, a reminder that the Girls on the Run Greater Milwaukee Spring 5K is almost here. Still plenty of time to join the Fox Sports Wisconsin crew on Sunday, June 5th. It'll be at Bayshore Town Center in Glendale, inspiring girls to be healthy and confident. And we invite you to register, foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the upcoming events tab. Chase Anderson leads off for the Brewers. Coming off a 3 up, 3 down inning, his first of the day in the 5th. And Simon hits Anderson. And he's been thrown out of the game. Alfredo Simon, after being hit by a pitch earlier, comes back and drills Chase Anderson. Home plate umpire James Hoy. It's the umpire's discretion. If he believes it is on purpose,
oh, you think?
He can take action to throw him out. You don't need warnings to do that.
Yeah, we anticipated that. Look at Brian Price. I mean, I can't believe he's even arguing that. And, you know, we said that after Anderson hit Alfredo Simon, you wonder what was going to happen when Anderson comes to the plate, and that question is answered very quickly. And Alfredo Simon, he's going to take an early shower.
And now Alfredo Simon coming in. Jim Joyce smartly gets between he and the umpire. The Reds' argument is if Anderson hit Simon on purpose during that attempt of a steal of home, why does my guy get thrown out when he hits a pitcher or hits the batter?
Yeah, well, that's the way the game is. I mean, you don't have to give a warning, as you mentioned, and that was deliberate. I don't care how you spin that. There's no way that was not deliberate and that wasn't sending a message. Now remember, Simon's not the only guy that Anderson's hit today. He's hit 3 batters. He had come into the game without having hit a batter. So Simon drills Anderson. He's done. Actually, because he's out of the game, it's one of his best starts of the year, actually.
So Simon is out, and we will head into that Cincinnati bullpen. He goes 4+, 2 runs, 1 earned.
Well, now you get into the really rough part of this Cincinnati team, the bullpen. The bullpen has really had a difficult time all season long, and
Brian Price is just making sure he gets his money's worth here. He might be trying to buy a little time for some of his relievers to get loose, but they do not know who it's going to be. They're all warming up,
and they get all the time, and they have all the time they want to get loose. So that's really not the problem. But Brian Price is just stating the case, and now he's moving over to the crew chief, Jim Joyce, saying, look, you know, my guy got drilled. Then Simon hits their pitcher, and I mean, that's the way the game was policed many, many years ago, but not anymore. Can't do it.
So Jim Joyce is letting him have his say. At some point, we got to get the game moving again.
Well, they're not going to change their mind, and Simon's out. Now the bullpen has to spring into action. Nobody knows who's coming in.
Fans getting restless now. Probably the only way that this may end is if Joyce throws him out. I mean, it's a civil discussion. It's somewhat heated, but all these players, managers, coaches, they have great respect for Jim Joyce. But it's got to end at some point.
Well, and let somebody get loose and move the argument off to the side, maybe.
I think that's what Craig Counsell just popped out of the dugout to say. Make a selection, keep arguing, but get the guy warming up here. And they have decided on a reliever.
Well, you could really see it coming, couldn't you? All the frustration the Reds have experienced over the last couple of weeks. It's really been a rough season. They've only won 3 games on the road this year, and a lot of frustration, and you really knew there was something might be going on when Anderson walked to the plate, particularly leading off an inning.
Chase Anderson has hit 2 Reds. Hit 3 of them, I beg your pardon. It came up and in on Joey Votto, but at the same time, Simon goes after Anderson and drills him right in the back. I think he missed him on the first pitch, trying to hit him, and caught him right.
Which is embarrassing in its own right. When you try and drill a guy, you miss him. Then you go back the second time. That's why he got thrown out.
It's no guarantee that Anderson's going to be able to continue here either. That one drilled him right in the shoulder blade, his right arm. That's the spot he keeps pointing to. So while the new pitcher A.J. Morris starts his warm-ups, he'll get all the time he needs. Brian Price is still arguing with Jim Joyce.
Well, 10-15 years ago, I don't think there would be any objections. I mean, the way the game is now, with the way Major League Baseball is trying to protect its players, you just can't be throwing at guys. And it did seem as though Alfredo Simon was trying to settle the score with Chase Anderson there.
So we will take a break as Morris warms up. We'll see if Price is going to be able to stay in this game or not. He's getting his money's worth. That's probably the longest argument I've ever seen in a manager not get ejected, but he kept it civil enough to stay in the game. He got in plenty of thoughts with the umpiring crew, but Bryan Price does remain in the game.
I think the umpires understood that he had a point. I mean, honestly, had a point. But I think the problem in that situation was the fact that, you know, Alfredo Simon missed him the first time coming in, and Anderson backing off, and then this is the one that gets him, and now it's deemed intentional. When you go up high like that, that's a little bit dangerous, and you can see right away home plate umpire James Hoy giving him the heave-ho. I think if he got him the first time on the leg, he would have been all right. But the second time coming up like that, you're gone. See you later. If you don't get him the first time, shame on you.
We'll see how that affects Anderson on the mound. So Simon's out. New pitcher is Morris. Had all the time he needed to get loose, but still an unusual situation for any reliever to have to warm up on the game mound in front of all of these fans.
And we saw Morris in last night's ball game pitch a scoreless 8th inning. And the unfortunate thing for the Reds, if you think about it, Simon was throwing the baseball well. I mean, he struggled in the first inning. Of course, his defense let him down, but he had been rolling along nicely, and then all of a sudden he decides to drill Chase Anderson. He's gone. And the Reds, that's the last thing they can afford, to get a hot pitcher out of the game.
Jonathan Villar with Anderson at first. I'm just not sure anymore what the beanball means anymore, you know, in this day and age. In your day, I mean, when players were allowed to police the game themselves, it got messy sometimes.
Yeah.
No question. But I'm not sure if it has an effect anymore. Is it going to stop Chase Anderson from doing what he's doing? Is it going to stop him from pitching inside?
Well, it's not a matter of pitching inside. I mean, just because, you know, you get warned doesn't mean you can't pitch inside.
VR into center, hit it sharply, but right at Holt for the out.
And even if you hit somebody, it doesn't mean you're going to get ejected. It's intent. The umpire behind home plate has to think there's intent to hit somebody intentionally, and James Hoy, I think correctly, even without a warning, thought that was on purpose, and I'm not sure how you can argue that.
Scooter Gennett at the plate, presented by Blaze Pizza, batting with 1 out. My question is more on the philosophical side. Take the umpires out of it. If you're a Reds position player, if you're Joey Votto, or if you're one of the other Reds that got hit by a pitch, Suarez or Barnhart, are you pleased that Simon, quote unquote, had your back, that he drilled a guy?
Yeah, but it's going to cost him the game. He's out, and he's going to get fined.
Right.
So I guess if you're the offense and you're pleased about that, take up a collection form.
Okay, good. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's the question that I have, fans have, like, what's the point? There was a point back in the day when players they did police themselves. That's how the game kind of operated for years, for decades, almost a century.
But, you know, hitting the opposing pitcher, missing him once, then get him the second time, I mean, that's not going to fly. You're not going to get away with that. Now, if you hit VR, yeah, you hit him in the hip, you know, maybe that's different. But that was intentional, and it was obvious, and he's not fooling anybody, and he got thrown out, which he should have been.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Gennett takes a ball. 2-2 now. And what it does is it gets Bryan Price into his bullpen early. It has been a struggling bullpen, too. He's got a starting pitcher that's going along pretty well. Swing and a miss. Gennett a little late on that fastball, and he strikes out for the second out. So we've had some drama here at Miller Park. Chase Anderson hit Suarez. Now that was on a 3-2 pitch. And then he hit Barnhart on a 2-2 pitch.
None of these are intentional, but maybe this might have been. Saved him a run, perhaps, and there you go. There's a retaliation on the second pitch, and see you later. Take yourself a nice shower. Get him the first time, you might get away with it, but not up there. I mean, a little bit too close for comfort, up around the head. Now, the other thing is, I mean, you're not doing your team any service by doing that right now. I mean, the guy hadn't given up a hit since the first inning. So where are they left now?
Little half swing by Lucroy. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tough time for a hitter right now with the shadows as they are.
I don't think Brian Price was too happy about Simon hitting the pitcher.
One and 2 the count.
The other question is, would Simon have done that had he not himself gotten hit?
Those are all great questions.
We're never going to know the answer.
I know, but it's fun to ask.
It's good to pontificate.
I do think, I mean, these are conversations that, you know, the macho, the tough guy brand of baseball, it's changed. Let's face it, it's different now. Plays at second, slides at second.
Blocking home plate.
Trying to pick off a, step on the first baseman's foot going by. Those are all these little things, all these stories you hear about guys like Ty Cobb who sharpened his spikes, before a game.
They're taking all the testosterone out of the game, right?
It's just a kinder, gentler game right now. And it's okay.
All the man stuff, right? It's all gentler, kindler.
Not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying if you got to know that if you're playing the game right now. I just don't get the point sometimes.
And you're not the only one.
I mean, when it gets really scary is like what we saw in that Pirates Diamondbacks game the other day. And there's a lot of beanballs going, and I mean, it's dangerous. Gene Segura got hit by a pitch. A couple of Pirates got drilled. One ball, 2 strikes on Lucroy. Brewers with 2 outs. Anderson still at first. It is going to be interesting to watch Chase Anderson, though, to see how effective he'll be. The spot where he got hit on the right shoulder blade and a right-handed pitcher. Let's hope that's all right. He's gone 5. He's only given up 1 run. And Carlos Torres is warming up. I think Craig Counsell has the same questions just in case. Lucroy in the air, left center. That's back there. Did he get it all? That is way back there. It's still going. And it is gone. Jonathan Lucroy with the ultimate payback. 2-run home run. 4-1 Milwaukee.
And Chase Anderson scores a run. Jonathan Lucroy knocks one out. And now what does everybody think about the decision by Simon? Bullpen comes in, breaking pitch to Lucroy, and he knocks one out of here to give the Brewers a 3-run lead. Yeah, he's hot. He's swinging the bat well. And that's our Badger Mutual Insurance run of the game. A 2-run shot by Jonathan Lucroy.
That ball just kept carrying and carrying. It was a mile high. And Lucroy continues his great month of May with the power game. His 8th home run. Did not homer in the month of April. He's hit all of his homers in May. Fought through a tough stretch on the road where he had just 1 hit in 19 at-bats. And he's homered in consecutive games now against Cincinnati. Lucroy, 8 homers, 22 runs batted in now. Chris Carter with 2 outs. And he takes a strike on a 3-0 pitch. There's ball 4. Carter draws the walk. Brewers still at it here in the 5th. A.J. Moore is summoned from the bullpen after Simon was ejected. Neuenhuis takes a strike.
See, the other thing about baseball these days, the argument cannot be that he's just protecting he and the rest of his teammates. That doesn't fly. The only argument that would actually hold water would be he didn't try and hit him. But is that a valid argument as you watch what was happening there?
Right, good point.
That was never a valid argument. Never in baseball. Hey, he hit our guy, I'm going to hit their guy. I mean, you just can't. That's not an argument you can make.
Right, that's always gotten you an ejection.
Right.
If that was your argument.
Exactly.
Neuenhuis takes one low. Four to 1 Brewers. Lucroy with a 2-out, 2-run home run to stretch the lead. And now it's 2-2.
You just think about the frustration, though, for Cincinnati. Chase Anderson hits Simon. It cost him a run, right?
Right.
Simon hits Anderson. He's gone. Bullpen's in. 2-run homer right away. That's kind of the way things have been going.
As Neuenhuis takes the ball. 3-2 the count. Runner goes. Carter and a swing and a miss. And the inning is over. Wild inning. Got a couple of them here. Brewers now up 4-1, but it all starts with Chase Anderson getting drilled by a Simon fastball right in the back. Retaliatory move. Lucroy with the sweet payback. 2-run homer. And the Brewers are up 3 as we go to the 6th. with Jonathan Lucroy. This is a public service announcement for the opposition of the Brewers, Rock.
Okay.
Never intentionally hit a batter with Lucroy coming up. Remember this from 2 years ago in Arizona? Ryan Braun was drilled. Everybody's happy. Way to go, way to go. Great
Nice
team
job.
guy.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And then what happened? Ziegler on the mound.
And
boom,
Lucroy
Swami.
hit a grand slam.
And at the time, the Diamondbacks were ahead.
They were. That was one of those fantastic moments.
He was told to drill Ryan Braun. Kirk Gibson, the first guy to give him high fives.
And it just happened here today. Simon hits Chase Anderson, and Lucroy steps up again and hits the home run. That's the way you answer a situation like that. Adam Duvall at the plate. Swing and a miss. So Carlos Torres is in. Chase Anderson is out. I think Craig Counsell felt like he's had enough, especially where that pitch hit him. So not only did the pitch cost an ejection for Simon, but it also has the Brewers going to their bullpen as well. And Torres coming off his back-to-back saves in Atlanta, his first appearance since, into a 1-2 count.
You know, as bad as the Reds bullpen has been, and that's exactly the opposite how good the Brewers bullpen has been. No bullpen better in the month of May, or at least after the first week. These guys have been terrific. Every one of them. Everybody that's come out of that bullpen has done a good job.
Carlos Torres had 2 career saves before he began that series in Atlanta, and then had saves in back-to-back games. And a wave and a miss. Good slider. Torres strikes out Duvall. And out number 1.
At that big sweeping breaking pitch off the outside corner with 2 strikes. That's where you got to pitch this guy, Duvall. You got to make him go the other way. You know, he can pull the ball. We've seen that. And you're not going to pull that pitch.
Here's Eugenio Suarez now. And Torres pouring in the strikes. Torres had a well-deserved day off yesterday. He was instructed not to even pick up a baseball. Back-to-back games where he knots a save, but the first one was interesting in that it came in the 13th inning. The Brewers had used all their relievers. That was a 10-pitch inning, and he picked up a save in the 13th after VR had given the Brewers the lead. But Thursday's game, he came into the game in the 8th inning, and it was a 2-run lead for the Brewers. He finished that inning, and then he came back out for the 9th. So those 31 pitches came across 2 different innings. And so even though the Brewers led by 4 when the game ended, he still got credit for the save because he remained in the game. And it was huge for the Brewers. We found out afterwards, Craig Counsell said he had 4 pitchers that were in the untouchable category in the bullpen.
Yeah.
4.
So there was a chance that somebody, if they weren't able to get the job done, was going to wear it big time.
On the ground to VR. Got the strong arm, and he flips one across the diamond in time to get Suarez.
Hey, the Brewers battle the dark side on Saturday, June 11th, as the crew hosts the New York Mets for Star Wars Day here at the ballpark. Fans who purchase a special Star Wars Day ticket package will get a Gorman Stormtrooper bobblehead. That's the best I've said that one so far. For tickets, go to brewers.com/theme nights.
That one was the best one?
Yeah, that's how bad it's been. Gorman Stormtrooper bobblehead. I want to see you say that.
No, that's why they give those to you.
So if that's the best one, I have butchered that
The
badly.
standards are really low.
Yeah, I know.
You know who'd be great at that promo?
Sophia?
No. Well, she'd be fine. But Matt LePay would. He'd slay that thing.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
It's really a strength. We should just have him voice it, and then we'd just play it back every day. Keep us out of it.
At least the Gorman Stormtrooper bobblehead part.
That was nice the way you did it right there. It's the storming and then the storm that gets you, I think, and all the rhyming.
Everybody knows what I mean.
Just read the screen. 2 outs, a ball and a strike on Tyler Holt. Tyler Holt was the spark that began all of that madness with the beanballs. Tried to steal home. It would have been a close play. Anderson fired one inside and hit the batter, who was the pitcher Simon, which killed the play. A dead ball sent Holt back to third. Simon got the base, but then Anderson was able to retire Cozart to end the inning. There's a wave and a miss. Carlos Torres, he just keeps getting it done. This guy's been impressive. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Aaron Hill, Red Killer, on his way up. He's hit 5 home runs against Cincinnati, 2 of them last night.
Hockey here in the 6th, and you can join Brewers pitcher Matt Garza and his teammates for the Brewers Bowl-a-thon on Sunday, August 14th. You can enjoy a silent auction and bowling with Brewers players while raising money for the Maida House, which offers substance abuse treatment services to help women reclaim their lives from the effects of drugs or alcohol. You can sign up for that today at brewers.com/bowling.
All right, Sophia, thanks. They do great work at the Maida House. Great friends over there. We encourage them and help them wherever we can. Good job, Matt Garza, aligning with the Maida House for his bowling tournament, the Bowl-a-thon. New Reds reliever rock is Caleb Cotham. Saw him last night, and he will take over here for the 6th inning. It's 4-1 Brewers after a 2-run 5th inning, a 2-run homer by Luke Croy.
Yeah, Cotham threw a scoreless inning, struck out a batter last night.
Aaron Hill leads off, and the pitch is low.
Cotham, one of those guys who can give Brian Price multiple innings. He's done it a couple of times this year, and maybe asked to do it again.
He's going to need it today. The pitcher spot in the lineup due up second.
Yeah, that's the only thing. No double switch, so probably not.
The starter, Alfredo Simon, ejected after he hit Chase Anderson. And Aaron Hill draws a walk, so a base runner to start the 6th. That'll bring up Alex Presley now. Final game of the series tomorrow. The St. Louis Cardinals are coming in here Monday, Memorial Day. 3-game series with the Redbirds. The Red Legs to the Redbirds in a homestand in the National League Central. Then the Brewers go to Philadelphia for just a quick 4-game road trip and then right back at Miller Park. And a lot of home games as we get past Memorial Day. Next homestand, the Brewers will face the A's and the Mets. It's a 6-game homestand, but 2 against the A's and then 4 against the Mets. 2 teams worth seeing, especially the New York Mets and their pitching staff.
Yeah, they look good when the Brewers were there last week.
Jacob deGrom pitched to Jim last night. Harvey's still struggling for them, but the others looks like the best rotation in baseball.
Yeah, Steven Matz.
That's inside. Did that hit him? It did. So Presley is hit by a pitch after the Aaron Hill walk. 2 on to start the 6th inning.
Well, the batter's starting to even out now. Now 3-2.
No ejection for this one.
No intent. You see the breaking pitch gets him on the foot.
Two on, nobody out. Here is Keon Broxton. Brewers have had a couple of chances to blow this one open. They got 2 in the first, but had them loaded with 1 out in the first. And the way the Reds are going right now, they're in a bad funk at this point. You could deliver a knockout blow right here and now if you're Milwaukee. You got to be thinking that.
Yeah, and Keon Broxton up there to bunt. The pitcher's spot is due up next, and I see Ryan Braun getting loose in that dugout.
And Broxton swings this time, cuts and misses. 1-1. Caleb Cotham is in, 3rd Reds pitcher. That's Hill at 2nd, Presley at 1st, and Broxton pulls it back. 2-1 now.
Has been able to throw that slider for strikes. So if you're Keon Broxton, you got to figure you're going to get a fastball here.
And we'll see if he's bunting or not. No, he's swinging and he fouls it back.
And they've got a fastball down the middle.
Reds had their corner infielders creeping in. So now it's 2-2. Keon's first ever major league hit came on a bunt. He was up there to try to sacrifice.
Exact situation. 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
They called strike 3. Broxton is out.
Yeah, got him up and in, maybe looking away. Well, is it going to be Ryan Braun or it's going to be somebody else? Looks like Hernan Perez on the on-deck circle.
And you got the slugger ready, but Counsell's going to save him.
I think if there was a man at 3rd base less than 2, it would have been Braun. It's not a bad option either. Hernan Perez, he's been swinging it well.
Yeah, he really has. Perez got the start yesterday, had 2 hits, drove in 2 runs, had 2 RBIs and a triple in Atlanta on Thursday. As a pinch hitter, he's 1 for 7 with 2 RBIs. And he chased one. Over anxious. Hernan's been the hot bat for the Brewers. It's earned him some playing time. Last 8 games, Perez has 10 hits, a double, a triple. He has 5 runs batted in.
And look at where all these base hits are coming. Up the middle, right field. That's his game. There's one in the left. And 10 RBIs in 18 hits and 10 ribbies. Pretty good.
And Perez lines one into the gap. Coming around is Hill. He'll score. Presley on his way to third, and Hernan Perez with a pinch hit RBI single. The Brewers lead 5-1.
And Cotham hung a breaking pitch, and that's about the only time you're going to see Perez try and pull it. Something off speed up in his zone and hits it hard out there. And Brewers now with a 4-run lead. There's that curved ball, stays right down the middle and belt high, and Perez did miss it. And another run in. Now 19 hits, 11 RBIs. Making the most of his hits. And Aaron Hill, who walked, comes around to score.
Perez now with 5 RBIs in the last 3 games, delivering in a pinch hit role. 5-1, 1 out, still runners at the corners.
And now you see why the decision by Alfredo Simon was such a bad one. And to go after the Brewers pitcher Anderson, he gets thrown out. Now the Reds bullpen has struggled all year, and you can see what's happened.
Jonathan Villar. First and third, 1 out. Brewers back to the top of their order. Check on Perez at first. Well, just like players and pitchers get hot, managers do too. And Craig Counsell is pushing all the right buttons right now. When we go back to that Atlanta series, tough decisions to make too. They worked out. We were talking to him about that after the game in Atlanta, after that series sweep of the Braves. You got to stick to your guns, protect the players when you can as far as pitchers go. And was going to get through the game somehow without using at least 3 of his relievers, and maybe even 4 unless they got into an extra inning situation.
Yeah, he has. He's made a lot of very good decisions this year, but you know, it comes down to the players, the position player, hitters, pitchers getting the job done. If Torres comes into that game in Atlanta and gives it up, I mean, all of a sudden that decision by Counsell is not that great, right? Players have to execute. Managers make decisions, and guys got to get it done.
Perez takes off, and the throw is late. Stolen base for Hernan Perez, and now second and third with 1 out. Number 6 for Perez this season. Only been caught once.
Yeah, not that fast, but you have a struggling pitcher out there. The last thing he's worried about is base runners. It's kind of a dead stop. He had his hands on his knees and a very good jump.
Infield in for the Reds. And Villar takes a ball. 3-1 the count.
At desperate times for Brian Price, bringing the infield in here.
5-1 Brewers. And there is ball 4. Patient. Villar draws the walk to load him up for Scooter Gennett. Brian Price is on his way to the mound. Simon's hit by pitch and ejection has set the wheels in motion in the wrong direction for the Reds.
Yeah, not a very good decision, and it's cost his team perhaps.
New pitcher coming in, J.C. Ramirez will set him up when we come back. Brewers threatening with the bases loaded.
And what better time for today's Tavern of the Game winner? Union Tavern in Evansville. They call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow. They get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Big spot for the Brew Crew, trying to put this one away in the 6th, perhaps. They lead 5-1. The new pitcher is J.C. Ramirez.
I saw him last night. He can bring it, 98, 99 miles an hour.
Ramirez last night pitched an inning, gave up 2 earned runs. Jeanette in the air to left. Presley's the runner at third. This will be plenty deep to score him. As the throw comes in late and Presley's in, Jeanette gets the RBI and the Brewers are up 6-1. Taking care of it quickly is Scooter Jeanette.
That first pitch fastball, 95 miles an hour. Kind of lifting one out there, and the Brewers scoring 2 runs in the inning. A walk and a hit batter come around to score.
Now it's Lucroy. Hit a key home run in the 5th last inning. 2-run shot, came with 2 outs in the frame. And he's homered in consecutive games now against the Reds. Lucroy on the Powerball home run leaderboard with 8 now. He's 1 away from Braun. Carter still the club leader with 13. Two on, 1 away. And a ground ball up the middle. Phillips makes the play. Jump throw to first in time. Man, what a play that was.
He's something, that guy.
And that's a 3rd out. That will end the inning as Lucroy grounds out. That's why he's got a bunch of gold gloves at home. Afternoon, the Brewers lead the Reds by a score of 6-1. Carsoup.com trivia. We're looking for the 2 active players with at least 150 career hits against Milwaukee. And the answers are Central Division rivals, not Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips and Albert Pujols. Makes sense. All those years with the Cardinals for Pujols, and Brandon Phillips been a terrific player for a long, long time with Cincinnati. Michael Blazek, who had the night off last night, on the mound to start the 7th inning against the Reds.
And Albert actually had a few hits against the Brewers when the Angels were in town this year, so added to his list. And as Michael Blazek takes over, 25th time, a .231 earned run average from Michael. Outstanding work out of that Brewers bullpen for Blazek all season. Last pitched on Wednesday against the Braves and picked up his 3rd win of the year, a scoreless 12th inning.
First pitch from Blazek, up and away. Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher, leads off. Reds are down at the bottom of their order. Got Barnhart, pitcher spot due next, and then to the top in Zach Cozart. Looks like Ivan DeJesus Jr. is already in the on deck circle.
Think about all the relievers that Bryan Price has had to use, including the one getting loose in that bullpen now because of Alfredo Simon drilling Chase Anderson. You got to think about, retaliation. You got to think about what you're doing out there. And hey, it's not just the emotions of the situation. I know that Alfredo Simon upset about getting hit, cost him a run, would have tied the game if in fact he was safe. But think about what's going on since. Got to think about those things before you get too emotional. Completely change the game.
Forced Bryan Price into his bullpen, an already beleaguered bullpen. Simon was in all kind of trouble in the first inning, but he minimized the damage and was able to get through it with only 2 runs and had not a lot of hit since that first inning at that time.
And frustration really gets a hold of you in many different ways. And I know it's been a frustrating year for Simon. He's got an earned run average over 10. 1 win on the season. The Reds have not gone all that well. I understand all that. I mean, that really does play a big part of what he did. But a lot of different ways you can handle that whole situation. You put those things in your memory bank and maybe down the road when nobody's thinking about it. And I'm sure that's exactly what Bryan Price is thinking right now.
Full count and a drive into right center, a base hit that's going to go all the way to the wall. Tucker Barnhart is in with a stand-up double to start this 7th inning.
Well, Blazek didn't want to walk him, so he gave him a number of fastballs back to back, and Barnhart able to center on it. That was the 9th pitch in that at bat, so you better, with a 5-run lead, make him hit his way on. That's what he did. And Barnhart able to rattle one off the wall out there and right.
Blazek's been part of that trio of late game talent the Brewers have rolled out there. Blazek and Thornburg and Jeffress. They've been fantastic this year. And a 5-run lead to work with here in the 7th inning. Runner at second, Ivan DeJesus Jr. pinch hits. But anything can happen, as is evidenced by what happened with the Royals today in Kansas City. They were down 7-1 in the 9th inning to the White Sox and came back and won the game.
Wow. More of that these days than ever before. I mean, big comebacks. I mean, 8th, 9th innings. And
well, last night the White Sox bullpen gave up a 5-1 lead. Sox lost 7-5, and they've gave up a 7-1 lead here today in Kansas City. Reports out of that game, though, that Salvador Perez was injured. Their terrific catcher. He was involved in a collision and was injured in that game. Royals keep dealing with injuries to key players. Moustakas and Alex Gordon.
Man, another catcher. That might be the biggest blow of all of them. I'm not sure how long he's going to be out, but missing that guy for any time is going to hurt you. He's a good one.
3 balls and a strike on the pinch hitter, DeJesus. And he popped him up. Shallow center. Broxton is in. And there is out number 1.
Yeah, swung at ball 4. And that pitch up out of the zone, so Blazek gets a break.
Well, Michael Blazek with one away. Got a runner at second. Let's check in with Sophia. She had a chance to catch up with the Brewer reliever the other day. What do you have to allow, Sophia?
Yeah, that's right. B-Rock, you were talking about that trio of Blazek, Thornburg, and Jeremy Jefferson. Talking to Blazek on the road trip, he said it's the first time that a lot of them have gone through these high leverage situations. And so he said, you know, they had closer Francisco Rodriguez, and he said they learned so much from him. And so JJ has taken a lot from him. They rely on each other for support, talking through innings. And that mentality of get in, put up a 0, and hand the ball to the next guy started with K-Rod, and something that they've carried on here. Gave credit to Lee Tunnell as well for kind of creating that culture in the bullpen.
Yeah, it is something that when we were, as you see Lee Tunnell, the bullpen coach, we watched Francisco Rodriguez save games for the Brewers, but every time you would ask any of the relievers about K-Rod, they would talk about his pitching between the lines, but it was always about what he does for the rest of the bullpen members and how great he is, what a teammate he is. He's constantly teaching. K-Rod's flourishing again in Detroit. He's in the 400 save club now, closing games for the Tigers as they start to turn it around.
And that really is a good point. And you know, in that report from Sophia, and that none of these three guys have ever been in the roles that they're in right now, and they're really doing a good job. They don't seem like they've been phased at all. Jeremy Jefferson has never been a closer. You know, Blazek, Thornburg battling injuries. So did Blazek last year, and now they're both doing a great job as a setup men. And never really thought about that too much until Blazek mentioned it, you know, to Sophia, and that makes a lot of sense.
Well, Blazek is coming off wins in his last 2 outings. As a reliever, you take those wins when you can get them. They don't mean much, but you'd rather win them than lose them. But as Carlos Torres ended up with saves in those 2 games in Atlanta, Blazek was the one who was on the mound. And then the Brewers took the lead the following inning.
And Brewers bullpen's 8-4, and that's pretty good. And one of the reasons why they've been able to come back in games and after falling behind is because of that bullpen.
Best ERA in baseball since May 6th. And so you take that ERA and then you look at the inherited runners stranded, and that is significant as well. ERAs with bullpens can be somewhat deceiving sometimes, but not in this case. The 1-2 and a wave and a miss. He struck him out.
And a nasty slider.
Cozart is gone. First strikeout for Michael Blazek.
This is the best pitch he's thrown right here. He's thrown a lot of pitches away, but that far and away his best pitch, close to the strike zone, and Cozart tried to pull it.
Looks like down and away is the way they want to get Cozart, right?
Don't let him pull it, right? Yeah.
Let's see how he attacks Joey Votto. Runner at second, Barnhart, a leadoff double. Shift is on for Votto. He hit one into that shift his first time up. Pulled one down the line in the third, a double, and then Chase Anderson struck him out in the 5th. Got him on an inside corner fastball. The Brewers starter today went 5 innings. 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned. No walks and 3 strikeouts, and he was taken out after he was hit by a pitch. Not sure if he was removed for injury or just the point of the game when Counsell wanted to get into the bullpen.
Yeah, just get some ice on that shoulder blade. Get him ready for his next start.
He is in the position to win it right now, Anderson, with the Brewers up 6-1. Look out. Helicopter coming. A Joey Votto bat. Wow, that's close to the baby.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? Everybody all right? Looks like it.
Yeah, he's nervous. He jumped up, though. I tell you, the instincts took over. That bat wasn't going to get to that baby under no circumstances.
Yeah, that would not have been good, but good job.
Helicopters the bat. Look at Dad. Jump in front of the family. That's the way.
Yeah.
Take one for the team. Two-two. Swinging a foul. Votto with a new bat. Joey didn't even bother with that other one.
Who does anymore?
Yeah, players used to try to at least negotiate to get it back.
Well, they give a different bat. They want their gamer back. They don't care anymore.
Kids today, Rock.
Maybe all the bats are good, right?
I think they might be. 2-2 to Votto now. Count goes full.
Amazing. Just watching Votto choke it up on that bat, it's amazing. You don't see guys choke up like that anymore.
And he's going to shoot one through for a base hit. It'll be an RBI for Votto. He beats the shift. Barnhart scores. It is 6-2 Milwaukee.
Well, the choke up works. He's got 2 hits today. He does that with 2 strikes. He always chokes up, but he's got about 3-4 inches off the knob of the bat. Stays right on it and beats his shift out of the reach of Jeanette, and a 2-out RBI.
Six to 2 now. And here's Brandon Phillips. There is such a contrast between Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips on so many levels. As Phillips swings at the first pitch, fly ball is going to fall, a base hit. Phillips with a single. But these two guys, and they've been together a long time, and not saying one way's the right way or the other, but Phillips just plays loose, always smiling, joyful, a pretty aggressive hitter. Votto is on the other side of that. He plays tense, intense, sometimes angry, and they've both been successful.
Yeah. No, everybody's different. Everybody has to get it done differently, and it's worked pretty well for both of them.
Well, you're stepping into a spot here where one swing could change the game. 2 on, 2 out, and a home run hitter coming up. So Derek Johnson wants to have a quick visit here with Blazek.
Yeah, but no lefties in that Brewers pen. This might be a spot for one if you had one of those situational lefties. The Brewers don't.
Well, Chase Anderson was very effective on Jay Bruce with the changeup. He struck him out twice swinging. So let's see what Blazek has in mind.
You got to be careful with the curveball to this guy, and Blazek's got a good one. Yeah, the slider and the curveball is out pitches, and don't hang it. Not to this guy.
It was 6-1 when the inning started. A run is in. Now Bruce at the plate. And he hits one hard through for a base hit. Votto's around third. He'll score. And suddenly the Reds are right back in it. It's 6-3. And the tying run will bat as Jay Bruce delivers an RBI single.
Yeah, picking on the first pitch. It was a fastball. And location for Blazek, not what he's used to, and Jay Bruce is saying, I struck out last 2 times. I'm going early here. He did not waste that fastball, and Joey Votto with a 2-out single comes around to score. So 3 consecutive hits.
And now Adam Duvall, their best home run hitter at the plate, as the tying run. Blazek misses low. And he goes. Swinging strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Duvall. Getting a chance to be an everyday player this year for Cincinnati. He's making the most of it. Another wave and a miss.
Yeah, that's where you got to pitch him. Just about every one of these Reds you got to pitch away. They're trying to jerk it out of the ballpark. That's that slider from Blazek. Not a big break, but late, but put in a good spot right off the outside corner.
Duvall came to the Reds in the Mike Leake deal last year at the trade deadline. He had a monster year in AAA. Hit 30 combined home runs between Sacramento and Louisville. Sacramento in the Giants system, and then Louisville when he got traded. He ranked 5th in all of minor league baseball in homers last year with those 30 homers. Had 87 RBIs for the season as well. Monster numbers to get a chance in the big leagues this year.
And he's in a good ballpark to keep hitting home runs. Not to say Miller Park's a pitcher's park, but there's nothing like hitting a Great American ballpark.
He's basically a hometown kid. He's from Louisville. Traded back to the Reds, which is certainly in Reds country, not too far from his home. Life is good for Adam Duvall. 2-2 is high, ball 3.
Well, you got to be careful here. You've got a full count. You got a home run hitter at the plate. You know it's going to be a slider. Just a matter of whether you're going to be able to get it close enough to home plate to get him to swing. And wasted a fastball up.
And you got a hitter on deck who's 0 for his last 26, by the way. First and third, 2 outs. Full count to Duvall. And that one's in the air to left and deep. Presley can only watch this one go. We are tied.
My goodness, he hung it.
A 5-run inning for the Reds.
He hung the slider, and Duvall, that's not where you want to leave that pitch to him. Goodness gracious. You know it's going to be a slider, just a matter of whether he's going to be able to get it down and get it close enough to swing at, and he hung it right down the middle.
And that's going to be it for Blazek. Well, as good as the bullpen has been, Blazek struggles today. A hanging slider, and Adam Duvall launches one out of here. And the Reds put a 5 spot on the board in the 7th inning. 2 out home run. 4 consecutive hits with 2 outs. And we are tied at 6. Pitching change for Craig Counsell. We'll take a timeout. 11th home run. A 3-run shot. He's had back-to-back games with 3-run home runs, and this one ties it at 6. Brewers led 5-1 with 2 outs in the 7th inning, and 4 straight hits off Blazek, and we're all even up. New game now. Jan Marinez is on the pitch for the Brewers, trying to get the final out here in the 7th inning.
Yeah, he was outstanding on Thursday against the Braves. A scoreless inning in 2/3 after the rain delay. Actually, he was pitching before the rain delay. About an hour and a half later, came back and threw another scoreless inning. Really good work from him.
That's one of the great bullpen efforts of the year against Atlanta. Suarez, a shot. Man, what a play by Hill. The throw is in time. Another gem by Aaron Hill. The Brewers needed that in a big way. He's made a couple of beauties today. Look at this one. A shot. Outstanding. Inning over, but the Reds have tied it. Now our game summary, if you're just joining us. The wheels kind of came apart for the Reds after Alfredo Simon hit Chase Anderson. He was ejected. Simon had been hit earlier in the game by the Brewer pitcher, and then just a couple of batters later, Jonathan Lucroy with a 2-run home run. Brewers feeling good about things at that point. They led 4-1. And then they had a 6-1 lead until the Reds get 5 runs in the 7th, capped off a 3-run homer from Adam Duvall. His second 3-run homer in as many games. And we're all tied at 6. Bottom of the 7th inning now. New third baseman is Ivan DeJesus Jr. He stays in after his pinch hit appearance. And the Reds have a new pitcher on the mound as Chris Carter takes one inside.
Well, they've got 8 relievers down in that bullpen. It's a good thing. They've been pouring through them pretty quickly here today. 25th appearance and a .424 earned run average. Hadn't allowed a home run. Blake Wood on here in the 7th.
Well, see if the Brewers can wrestle this thing back. Cincinnati has lost 11 consecutive games. And sitting there down 6-1, it's looking like it's all but over.
Heads were down and everybody kind of talking to themselves, and boy, with 2 outs, they explode.
Adam Duvall with his 11th homer of the season. He's got a home run and a double today. Now Carter with one swing of the bat can get the lead back for Milwaukee. Blazek has been so good for the Brewers. That was very much out of character to see that. He was there with a 5-run lead, 2 outs, and a man at second base.
And 2 out, 2 strikes to Joey Votto.
Yeah, that's right. Votto had a single and an RBI. Then Phillips hit one off the end of the bat that fell for a base hit. Then Bruce on the first pitch singled. And then the bomb by Duvall.
And one of the few times that Michael Blazek just could not locate his curveball and changeup. I mean, just really had no location of either one of them. And on a full count, you knew the slider was coming. Just a matter of whether he was going to be able to put it where he wanted to, and he didn't.
Now, if you're Adam Duvall and you're sitting there in the Giants organization, got a roadblock in the outfield in that organization right now. He gets traded to the Reds, opens the door for him after a huge year in AAA, and he looks like he's going to be a factor in the big leagues. Certainly has been in this series.
Well, he can certainly hit a ball to left field. I mean, the Brewers really haven't seen him try and go to the opposite field. Matter of fact, every time they throw him something breaking off the corner, he's hasn't been too patient with it. Well, you hit mistakes out of the ballpark, and that's what he did.
Carter, a foul tip into the mid of the catcher and a strikeout to start the 7th inning.
You don't hit home runs on good pitches, and that's what a lot of guys rely on. Pitchers making mistakes.
Here's Kurt Neuenhuis. Inside, Wood misses. Wood is the 4th reliever used by Brian Price.
Plenty left.
Now the Reds are carrying 8. They've had all kind of problems with their pen. Really no defined roles out there at this point. A lot of it has to do with matchups.
Just looking to get out is Brian Price.
Two balls and a strike on Neuenhuis. Right at Phillips. And that'll be out number 2. 2 up and 2 down for Blake Wood. And here comes Aaron Hill. This is the guy you want at the plate. But he's done it with his glove today, Rock. 2 sparkling plays at third base.
Yeah, one in the hole and one a bullet right at him that I'm not sure how he was able to get. And that was an out, a ground ball, one hop bullet. Check this out. I'm not sure how he was able to keep it in the glove, and that ended the 7th. But, you know, Aaron Hill just continues to get the job done.
Well, Aaron Hill hit 2 homers yesterday. Had 3 hits today. He's been on all 3 trips to the plate. Had an infield hit, an RBI in the 1st inning, and then he walked twice his next 2 trips. Scored a run his last time up. Putting together a terrific month of May. He'll be pushing for Player of the Month for the Brewers. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. That's a 90-mile-an-hour slider from Blake Wood.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He can get it up there at 96 miles an hour with a fastball and give you a little cut at 90.
Bottom of the 7th. Reds just scored 5 runs to tie it. Broken bat, slow roller, tough play. Cozart in, bobbles. And Hill is aboard once again. That would have been a tough play for him. I'm not sure he throws him out, even if he comes up with it cleanly. But we'll see how they score it.
I think that's normally a play that Zach Cozart's going to be able to make. Look at that bat. 2 pieces just left holding the handle. I think if he catches it cleanly, he gets the out. We'll see how they score that up in the press box.
Well, Hill is aboard. The Brewers have the go-ahead run on base for Alex Presley. By the way, they have scored that a base hit for Hill, infield single. Out of the range of ordinary for an infielder. Presley in the air, left field. Duvall is there, and that will retire the side. So the Brewers are gone in the 7th, all tied at 6. 8th inning coming. The Reds at the bat.
Brewers and Reds are even at 6. We check in our minor league report. The Colorado Springs Sky Sox had a great day at the plate. Shane Peterson led the way for them. He had a perfect day at the plate. 5 for 5, 3 runs, 2 doubles, a home run as well. In 14 games, he's hitting .370 with 3 home runs. He did spend some time on the disabled list with an arm injury, but you see the numbers. He has really hit the ball very well for the Sky Sox. That was a 17-4 win for them.
Yeah, good for him, Sophia. Guy that's been in the big leagues and back in AAA trying to fight his way back. That's the way you do it.
Yep.
John Marinez back on the mound for the Brewers. He got the final out. That beautiful play by Hill to end the 7th inning. But not before the Reds had scored 5 off Blazek to tie this game. So Marinez will begin the 8th, quickly pitching himself into an impact role in the Brewers bullpen right now.
Well, he certainly has the stuff to be an effective reliever. Just a matter of whether he's going to be able to throw enough strikes. So far he has.
I was taken off the major league roster by the Rays in early May. Sat there in limbo for a little while without a team, and then the Brewers were able to claim him. And he went nearly 2 weeks without pitching in a game before he finally got in against the Mets.
Got loose a couple of times, but not able to get into a game, but really did a nice job when he came in.
3 balls, a strike on Holt, make it 3-2. Comes back, gets himself back in the count now. Wind is blowing through Miller Park. Everything's opened up. 3-2, fouled away. Now, we told you about the Royals coming back from down 7-1 against the White Sox today, scoring 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th to win that game. They were down 7-1 with 1 out in the 9th inning.
Wow.
And a called strike 3. Mariñez rings the bell on Tyler Holt.
Down 3-0, and they would come back and put him away. That's a guy you don't want to walk. We saw how fast he was when he hit a double right at the bottom of the strike zone, and you see that late movement. It's not where you catch it, it's where it crosses home plate. Down 3-0, and he just kept pouring in the strikes to get him.
7-pitch battle against Tyler Holt. Good comeback for Mariñez. Here's Tucker Barnhart. He started the 5-run 7th with a double and a run scored. That's the pitch Mariñez is trying to eliminate. Get away from the elbow drop, the little slinging fastball in there.
It's all about mechanics, right? Repeatable mechanics.
That's more like it. You see that fastball from Mariñez goes side to side. That's the pitch that Derek Johnson and Lee Tunnell are quickly trying to eliminate with his mechanics.
Yeah, down 3-0 again. He's got him right where he wants him.
Only guy I ever felt like that about was Trevor Hoffman.
Right. Yep.
Maybe K-Rod, to some extent. Francisco Rodriguez had that changeup. He could come back on a hitter. Hit hard. Out there in the grass is Jeanette. The long throw in time.
See, 3-0.
You're right, partner. Good analysis. Right where he wants him. Jan Mariñez. We're just getting to know this guy. Sophia has more on him.
That's right. Craig Counsell said that he has performed so well, and you guys mentioned that long layoff he had prior to making his debut against the Mets. And Counsell said you have to give him a lot of credit because he did all of that work in the bullpen to keep himself sharp, keep himself ready despite that long layoff. And he said it really only took him about 5 pitches in New York to get his rhythm, and he performed really well from there. He had 4 strikeouts in that inning, and then you mentioned in Atlanta he covered an inning and 2/3 with nearly an hour-and-a-half rain delay. So Counsell said you need to give him credit for how well he has prepared himself for these opportunities.
He's been impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's opening eyes quickly.
You know what turned him around in New York? He threw one over Cespedes' head. And then once he did that, he kind of calmed down and threw the ball pretty well, throwing strikes. Didn't try to do that, but that's where it ended up. That kind of dialed him in.
No, when you see what he's done, his last couple of outings, he's gone 3 2/3 innings. He's had 7 strikeouts, struck out 4 in that game against the Mets, across an inning plus. And then that effort that Rock talked about against the Atlanta Braves. I mean, that was something. And it on paper, it's just a good outing, inning and 2/3, right? But the fact that he pitched, he got 2 outs, he came back after a 1 hour and 17-minute rain delay. And actually, you figure it's about an hour and a half because the Brewers were still batting when the rain delay ended. He came back after all that and pitched another scoreless inning. And he has struck out De Jesus to end the inning. Jan Mariñez making a name for himself with the Brew Crew. A 3-up, 3-down, scoreless 8th, and 4 big outs for the Brewers this afternoon.
Can win it here at their at bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. We're getting set for Brewers Live postgame. 5-run lead blown. One of the few times that's happened this year.
Yep, it certainly is. And, you know, this is the thing. This is where some of your veteran players, you know, with Aaron Hill and Jonathan Lucroy, Ryan Braun, they step up, settle these guys down, because it does take a little wind out of the sails, but you got to keep digging.
All right, we'll see if they can keep digging here in the 8th inning. We have Brewers Live postgame coming up after the ball game, Brian.
All right, Craig and Davey, thanks. Bottom 8, 6-6. Reds have out hit the Brewers 10-6. Ramon Flores leads off. He's pinch hitting. And Colin Walsh due next.
Yeah, Wood's got that good two-seamer that he mixes in pretty well with that 96 fastball, the four-seamer. Slider too, and Flores has been swinging the bat pretty well as of late.
Yeah, Flores back up the middle, a base hit. Right on cue. Flores is aboard, and Craig Counsell had Colin Walsh on deck, but with that base hit, his mind has been changed. Now Ryan Braun will get a swing with a man on.
Well, obviously Counsell not thinking about a bunt, you know, to get Flores over to second base. He's not a big firm believer in the sacrifice bunt. Not with his position plays. He's a pretty good option though.
Ryan Braun out of the starting lineup today, just a day off. Steps into a spot here in the 8th inning with a chance to give the Brewers the lead, perhaps. I guess Counsell's figuring it's going to be the last chance for a while to use a pinch hitter as he goes back to the top of his order, and you certainly don't want Ryan Braun unused on the bench. And so he'll take his shot. This year, the Brewers' biggest blown lead in a loss had been 3. They had a 4-1 lead on New York. Lost that game 5-4 on the last road trip. Ryan Braun as a pinch hitter. This year, he's 1 for 1 with a double. He drove in a couple of runs. Blake Wood pitching in his 2nd inning. And a big swing by Braun.
Yeah, big fastball at 95. Up in the zone. That Brody can catch up to the big fastball. Just got to get it down in the zone a little bit.
Outfield very deep with Braun at the plate. Flores has good speed at first. One ball, one strike to count. Outside, ball 2. Now most pitchers, when they face Ryan Braun, try to get him away. I mean, the way to get him is inside, but very few can get in there on Braun.
And get him conscious in, and then, you know, throw breaking pitches away. That's the way you want to really attack everybody.
Braun's so good at driving the ball to the opposite field.
There's that slider.
And a wave and a miss. 2-2 to count. If he throws another one of those, it's going to be tough for anybody.
That was a good one. Perfect.
Braun's looking for that hanger that Adam Duvall got. 2-2. Ryan Braun has reached base 29 consecutive games. A career high for him. 2-2 is swung on, a broken bat, and it'll go 6-4-3 and a double play.
Good slider again by Wood. Yeah, got Braun out in front, and an easy double play. 6-4-3. Broke his bat. Didn't make a mistake with that breaking pick. Check it out. That's a pretty good pitch going straight down. And that's a room service double play for Cincinnati.
So 2 outs with 1 swing of the bat, and Wood gets the Brewers' best hitter. Now to the top of the order, here's Jonathan Villar. Wood pitched Braun about as well as you can. Every slider was in the perfect spot.
Yep, fastballs up, sliders off the plate.
Jonathan Villar has had a knack for the big moment here recently. Game-winning hit in the 13th inning in Atlanta. Two balls and a strike on the Brewers shortstop.
Well, if you're thinking home run, he's got 2, both coming as a right-handed batter. No home runs as a lefty.
He homered on opening day against the Giants. And then hit a home run on Thursday in Atlanta. 2 balls and a strike. 2-2 now on Villar. Brewers led 6-1 going into the 7th inning. A 5-run red 7th to tie it. We play in the 8th. Payoff pitch. Villar strikes out. Blake Wood giving the Reds 2 big innings. A double play and a strikeout. The inning is over. We go to the 9th. Reds are coming up, and we remind you that in honor of Memorial Day weekend, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Merging Vets and Players, dedicated to ensuring our nation's warriors can be as productive off the field as they were on it by joining combat veterans with former athletes to form a common bond over dedication and teamwork. Visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more. And on this Memorial Day weekend, we are headed to the 9th in a tie game. Neuenhuis will move over to center field, and Flores will stay in the game and play right. And Rock, the new pitcher, is the Brewer closer, who's in a tie game now Jeremy Jeffress.
Yeah, Jeremy finished yesterday's ball game. The Brewers had a 4-run lead and tossed a 3-up, 3-down ninth that included a strikeout. And good news, Jeremy unscored upon in 20 of 23 appearances this year, and has only allowed 1 run in his last 12 1/3 innings. All good numbers.
Jeffress will face the top of the Reds order. You got Cozart, then Votto, then Phillips. Cozart today is 0 for 4. Struck out his last time up. Things were looking good the last time Cozart was up there. Brewers led by 5. There were 2 outs in the 7th inning. And then the floodgates opened with 2 away. 4 straight hits. Capped off by an Adam Duvall 3-run home run. I think that hit him. It did. Cozart is on. Hit by a pitch in the 9th inning to start.
Well, Jeremy last night came in throwing darts. He was throwing well. That one got away from the 2-seamer and looked like it got Cozart in the jersey. A decent speed at first base with the big boys coming up.
Votto had an RBI hit his last time up. He's 2 for 4 today. And Lucroy is on his way out. Not liking what he sees.
You got to slow him down a little bit. Rushing to home plate. Velocity's there. Location is not. That last one at 96.
It's pretty common for managers to use their closer in a tie game at home in the 9th inning. Craig Counsell does it even on the road. He uses his closer in a spot like this, in regulation, if you will. And his philosophy behind that is play the game as you would in 9 innings if you had a lead, and then ad-lib afterwards.
Right.
And that's what the Brewers have done. There's Votto, a swing and a miss at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
They took a really defensive hack the first strike. Well, whatever Lucroy said to Jeremy Jeffress, it worked. Powering it right by him, outer half.
And now it's 1-2, and Votto's having a conversation with the umpire. Not sure what this is about.
Pintar. Yeah, he looked at his batting glove, saying I'm slipping.
He threw the bat. He lost the control of the bat last time up. Fired it into the stands, right in front of that baby. Actually, Dad jumped in front. You can't change a bat that's not broken in the middle of an at-bat. Just punches one over to second. Jeanette's going to second, and they get the out. So Scooter goes to the bag to get the lead out, and Votto at first on the fielder's choice.
Just trying to put the ball in play. He's choking up very high on that bat, just trying to make contact, and an easy force out at second base. Not even a strike. You know, Votto puts it in play, and Brewers not able to turn a double play, but they got the lead out.
And they gives themselves an opportunity to turn one here with Brandon Phillips coming up. Phillips won't have to go back to the on-deck circle for any stickum. He's got it all over his helmet. He can go get it whenever he wants to. That's a mess.
Good looking hat.
think Craig Biggio had the most pine-tarred helmet in baseball history.
Ozzie Guillen had a lot on his.
That's a good call.
I think that's more the Stickum spray than the pine tar. There's some pine tar in there, but pine tar doesn't glow like that.
That's a good point. It's got a good shine to it. 2-0 to Phillips. There's a strike. Needed that one.
Phillips didn't like it.
So you got the sticky stick, you got the rosin, and the pine tar is the one that looks like a book over there. The book of tar.
A book.
Nothing better than the smell of pine tar, right? When you're at the ballpark. That ball's lined foul.
One of the best smells when you go to spring train. The first day you show up, you go into that clubhouse, you smell the pine tar down there, and they should bottle that.
Take it out on a Saturday night. Eau de tar. A lot of players have the wraps on the bat that you used to never see. Same kind of wrap you'd see on an aluminum bat. So even the pine tar is having a hard time staying alive now with the younger players.
There's a trick to making a good pine tar rag, though. Combination of pine tar and rosin.
2-2. Phillips lays off. And the count goes full.
Checking his swing, lifting the bat up, but nope, I didn't cross home plate.
He said it looks just like this, so no swing.
And showing it to Jonathan Lucroy. Yep.
Jeffress could use a double play ball here. Brewers trying to get this thing to the bottom of the ninth, still tied. Votto takes off, and the pitch is outside for a ball. Doesn't matter. Ball is live, but it's still going to be 2 on. And so a hit batter and a walk in this inning has Jeffress in trouble in the ninth.
Man, Votto not sure what was going on out there. Didn't know it was ball 4. Saw the ball go into center field, and you see the difference for Jeremy Jeffress. Non-safe situations, he's been giving up some runs. In safe situations, not so much.
Feels like all closers struggle in non-save situations. Well, here's a big hitter right now. Jay Bruce had a single and an RBI in the 7th. He was part of that 5-run comeback for the Reds. 2 on, 1 out. A strike on the edge. Jeffress has been using the big fastball, the power sinker that you just saw there, 96, 97 miles an hour. And then he started throwing this split change this year that's about 89 to 91, and that's been a very effective pitch for him.
Yeah, we saw that last night with a 4-run lead. I don't expect he's going to throw too many here. There's one.
Presley will watch it in the seats.
Yeah, getting more and more confidence in that pitch in a big situation. Well, I guess he saw the success that Chase Anderson had against Jay Bruce, you know, using that changeup. And well, you'd hate to come into a game like this and make a mistake with your 3rd best pitch and put it in a good spot.
It has a ton of sink on it, a lot more movement, less velocity, more movement. And he also has a pretty wicked curveball. Let's see what he goes with Bruce. 0-2 in the count. 2 on. Tried another one. Well, if you're Lucroy and you're back there, and you've seen Jay Bruce strike out twice on a changeup, with Anderson on the mound, as Rock mentioned. You're going through all these images in your head of pitches that work or that have worked.
Might be throwing it again.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He did throw it again, and Bruce able to lay off. Well, now if you're Bruce, if you want to play the thinking game, he's missed twice with it. You just sit on the fastball. And it's a ground ball. VR lays out, can't get it. Votto stops around third. Jay Bruce with a 3-hopper through the infield, and the Reds have him loaded up. Well, this is part of the batting order in the last few innings. Can't get him out.
I'm not so sure why Joey Votto, they didn't try to send him. I mean, it's a pretty good gamble. But let's check out the jump from Votto. I mean, he takes off. I mean, it's first and second, a ground ball, you take off. I know Joey Votto doesn't run all that well, and he looked like he was getting stopped right away, but he's not moving too well. Maybe it's those tight pants.
Well, meeting at the mound here with the bases loaded and 1 out. The skinny jeans of Joey Votto. Brewers in a mess here. Craig Counsell wanting to go through all the scenarios, but the Reds have the guy they want at the plate, Adam Duvall. He hit the 3-run homer in the 7th that tied this game at 6. Six RBIs in this series. 2 games.
A little housekeeping on the mound. Not sure what it was, but Jim Joyce going to do away with it.
Brewers need a ground ball double play in a bad way here. They'll try to turn one up the middle. And a swing and a miss, just overpowered him with a fastball. Back to the 7th. Brewers led 5-1. Then it was, I beg your pardon, 6-1. Then it was 6-3 until Duvall tied it on a 2-strike, 3-run home run with 2 outs in the 7th inning.
Yeah, down and in with that good 2-seamer, not a bad option. And Jeffress doesn't possess that wicked slider. He's got the curveball. You don't want to hang that pitch either to this guy. Don't give him anything to pull. Anything middle speed.
Misses outside. Lucroy did a good job to keep that one from the screen. Reds have 5 hits today with runners in scoring position, including Duvall's home run. Counsell and pitching coach Derek Johnson planning ahead just in case. 2-1 the count, and a ground ball right to VR. Got a chance to Jeanette. Throw to first in time. A double play. Jeffress gets out of it. Bases loaded, 1 out. The Reds come up empty. Still tied at 6. And a room service 6-4-3 double play and a fist pump from Jeffress. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Well, as we went to break, Brian Price, the Reds manager, came out, had a word with Jim Joyce, and he is asking the umpires to challenge this play.
And see if Scooter has his foot on the bag, and that's pretty close.
There is no longer a neighborhood play in the big leagues anymore with the new slide rule. And
well, the back foot is not on the bag. The question is, does he pick up the front foot before he has the ball in his glove? If that's the case, the man at second is going to be safe, and the Reds are going to have a run on the board.
So it basically boils down to that piece right there.
I'd say it's pretty close.
Now, if this is overturned, the Reds inning is going to continue. A run will score. The Reds will take the lead in the 9th inning. They have to put base runners back out there. They still got the out at first base, so it would be second and third with 2 outs if this is overturned and a run in. And this is going to be a huge call coming right here. And he's calling him safe. My goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
The Reds have taken the lead. No double play. Scooter Gennett's foot was off the bag.
I guess, you know, the question you have is, if the Reds didn't have any challenge, I guess they go after the 7th inning and ask the umpire, right?
Yeah, the umpires.
They have that ability.
And I think what Craig Counsell is saying here is managers are supposed to have 30 seconds to make this decision. Now, I can't say whether it was 30 seconds or not, but it doesn't matter. The Reds have the lead.
Scooter Gennett apparently did not have his foot on the bag when the ball was in his glove, and a run's going to score. And really didn't have to be that quick, because that was an easy double play ball.
Had 2 plays overturned with a fielder with his foot off the bag. Votto got caught earlier today, and now Scooter Gennett.
Now it's 7-6.
And it's going to be second and third with 2 away. Out still counts at first base. And Craig Counsell is going to remove Jeremy Jeffress from the game. Tell you, this is about as ugly as it gets.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, the rules are the rules, but I tell you, talk about splitting hairs out there. And they got to tip your hat to the Reds. I mean, they saw something that nobody else saw. They were looking at it, and Jim Joyce, the crew chief, they went out to him and said, will you take a look at it? He said yes, and then the Reds are going to get a run on the board. Wow, man alive.
So it'll be second and third with 2 away. The Reds lead 7-6, and a pitching change. We'll take a timeout. but he had no more challenges, so he had to, whatever he said, he had to convince the umpires that they need to take a look at it because he lost his challenges. They did look at it, and the Reds, because of it, have a 7-6 lead, and we resume play in the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, the one problem that, baseball needs to correct is they need to explain to the crowd, the people that are at the stadium, what went on there.
Right.
Nobody knows in the crowd what happened. Why is the guy safe at second base? Baseball needs to correct that. That's a big problem.
Here's Billy Hamilton, and pitches high with the new pitcher Blaine Boyer on the mound, or rather David Goforth, I should say. I think the biggest beef that Craig Counsell has right now is why did it take so long? Why was Brian Price allowed to take so long? Essentially an entire commercial break to go find out.
Because what he needs to do, he needs to go up on the front step right away and tell the umpires they want to take it, or he has to come out and ask the umpires to take a look at it. He didn't do that until the play was well over.
40 seconds is what we timed it as, from the time that the out was recorded till the time that Price actually went to the umpire. That's 40 seconds. You're supposed to get 30. And if you put it in a different context, had there been nobody out and it was a double play and now there's 2 outs, there certainly would have been a pitch delivered by that time. So
right.
they because he went to a between inning scenario, they had the extra time, and the Reds video team underneath snuffed it out, and they got the call as Hamilton tries to bunt his way on. 2-2 the count now.
Well, so it's a loosey-goosey 30 seconds. 30 seconds or so.
The way to resolve it all is for Scooter Gennett to keep his foot on the bag.
Right. Because you saw how easily they turned the double play on Duvall. He wasn't even close.
It is a new game for everybody, and these players, they know the rules. They know how it's going, and you've got to fight your habits and your instinct. Hamilton, a fly ball. Presley lays out, makes the catch. Boy, that's a big play right there. That was a fair ball. Presley hauls it in, and it is just a 1-run deficit. Great catch. Saves 2 runs. Goforth gets out of the inning. Bottom of the 9th. Brewers down 1. Well, there's a lot to talk about with this game, but the Brewers find themselves down 7-6 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. on an overturned call on what looked like an inning-ending double play. Brewers still have a chance, but down a run. Final game of the series tomorrow. Miller Lite, what's on tap? Brandon Finnegan against Jimmy Nelson, the former Royal, and Jimmy Nelson, the most consistent Brewer pitcher. Tyler Holt will slide over to left field. Hamilton's coming in to play center after his pinch hit appearance. And right now the Reds closer is Tony Cingrani, who has 3 saves, 4 blown saves. Scooter Gennett leads off.
Yeah, the only left-hander down in that bullpen for Cincinnati is the closer. And he didn't start the season as a closer, but that's where the Reds are right now. A lot of fastballs.
A most improbable overturned challenge could be the difference in this game unless the Brewers can score here. And if you're the Brewers right now, you're kicking yourself you're even in that spot.
Right, no kidding.
Up 6-1 going into the 7th inning.
That play shouldn't even matter.
And up 6-1 with 2 outs in the 7th inning. 5 runs scored for the Reds. Gennett to start it, then Lucroy, then Carter. Oh, 0-2 on Scooter Gennett. And he's gone. A strikeout. Tough matchup for Gennett there. Lefty on lefty. Got the big slider from Cingrani. And that'll bring up Jonathan Lucroy now.
Yeah, first breaking pitch he threw to Gennett right there and got him on strikes. Cingrani, a guy that kind of slings it in there. He's sneaky fast. 93 tops out. But the Reds have blown 10 saves this year.
Cingrani 4 of them. Well, Jonathan Lucroy, he's had a good day today. 2 hits. His last one was a 2-run homer. Gave the Brewers a 4-1 lead at the time. That was in the 5th inning. One ball, 1 strike. Got some power hitters coming up. Lucroy, then Chris Carter. Well, we've had a ton of reviews in this game, challenges, a lot of close plays. Approaching nearly 4 hours, and we're only in the bottom of the 9th inning. Big swing by Lucroy. 2-2. Right now it's Jeremy Jeffress on the hook for the loss.
He gave up 1 hit. Gave up 1 hit, a hit batter, a walk, and an ill-fated double play ball.
Lucroy strikes out. 2 outs in the inning. And the Brewers down to their last out, down a run.
Yeah, didn't mess with the breaking pitch, and look at that location right on the outside corner. A 4-seam fastball from Cingrani.
Plenty of heat on that one. That's going to be up to Chris Carter now. Carter looking for his first hit of the series. Three balls, no strikes.
He might be Being careful, you got the left-hander Neuenhuis on deck. I wouldn't throw him a fastball here for a strike.
Carter does swing 3-0 on occasion, not this time.
He did.
The Counsell has already used Ryan Braun. Braun bounced into a double play in the 8th inning. And Carter draws the walk, and there you go. Tying run is on.
Let's see if they go with Colin Walsh. Maybe the pinch run. We'll see.
Looks like Martin Maldonado's grabbing a bat. So it's going to be Maldonado to go up there.
Knock one out of here. I guess that's what his plan is. I'm for it.
He's looking for his first homer of the season. Figuring he's due. And a scouting report coming from Mark Riggins, the pitching coach. Well, Maldonado's been known to end a few games via walk-off. Usually they're on holidays. We're kind of expecting him to have a walk-off on Memorial Day, but a couple days early will do.
Memorial Day weekend. Let's put it that way.
All right, I'm with you. Had a memorable Mother's Day walk-off a couple of years back. All right, so it's Maldonado with Carter at first base. Book on Maldonado is that he is very patient. He'll get into the count. It's a perfect time to swing at the first pitch and hit one out.
There's a pitch to do it right there. Outfield very deep for the Reds. Boy, Holt has got his heels on the warning track back there.
2 outs, 9th inning. Brewers down a run. Cingrani just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Everything away to the right-handed batters. And Maldonado's late, and the count of 1 and 2 strikes. Crowd trying to help him out. Over 30,000 today. Brewers are down to their last strike. Maldonado looking for a moment. A long ball wins it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and a called strike 3. The game is over, and the Reds win in the most improbable way.
What a gut punch that is for the Brewers. Goodness.
Gotta feel like you gave one away today. The Reds score 5 in the 7th. They get an overturned double play, and they win it 7-6. Wood with his 4th win, Cingrani his 4th save, and that is the first loss for Jeremy Jeffress of the year. Series all even at 1 apiece with the finale tomorrow, and that sets us up for Brewers Live coming your way right now. Let's send it out to Craig Cashon.
Okay, BA, it's going to be really interesting to hear what both clubs have to say about how this one turned out. We're going to hear from Craig Counsell, hoping to get Reds' reaction as well, and we'll get you set for the series finale coming up tomorrow afternoon. Stay with us. Brewers Live is next.